conversing with the spoken word far less. The thumb, not the tongue, has become the primary communication driver. Cell phones have changed everything, but there will be a price for that down the road. Now this. Thousands of abandoned animals in the USA need your help. Delta Rescue, founded by actor Leo.
There's no progress dealing with progressives. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're on a path to win the vote. I don't want to even consider any options other than that.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will try again today to pass that bipartisan infrastructure bill.
About 10 or more House Republicans would back the package, but that's not enough to make up the vote deficit on the Democratic side of the aisle. Progressives want details nailed down on the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social spending package before they back the infrastructure bill.
Fox's Chad Pergram. Now, a moderate Democrat in the Senate, Joe Manchin, says he could only support $1.5 trillion in spending, and without his vote, the plan can't get through a 50-50 Senate since all Republicans oppose it. There was one thing both sides agreed on.
Bipartisan votes in the Senate and House sent President Biden a short-term continuing resolution hours before government funding would have expired. The spending bill also provides disaster relief and funding to resettle Afghan refugees.
Fox's Jared Halpern. More refugees landed yesterday in Chicago. More than 100 Americans and Afghans who were evacuated from that country were on the flight. Half were children. North Korea, still in a nuclear standoff with the U.S., tests yet another missile. Fox's Simon Owen has the update live.
Dave, North Korea claims to have test-fired a new anti-aircraft missile in its fourth weapons launch in the past 3 weeks. State media says the newly developed missile demonstrated its remarkable combat performance. Meanwhile, in South Korea, the country has been staging military drills to mark its Armed Forces Day. President Moon Jae-in said his government will respond sternly to any action threatening South Koreans' lives and safety. Dave?
Simon, Texas's new law banning abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy is back in court today. A judge will consider the Justice Department's attempt to block it. America's listening to Fox News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 6:03, 64 right now. In Columbia, it is 63 degrees. In Jefferson City, we're expecting scattered storms. Today's high 81. Rain tonight if you're heading out for high school football, low near 66. And tomorrow for Mizzou football, Tennessee Volunteers in town. It'll be sunny late in the evening, but early evening. But other than that, scattered storms and showers and a high of 79 degrees. Again, right now, 64 degrees in Columbia. Good morning, everyone. The U.S. House delaying a vote on a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia there are divisions in the House Democratic caucus.
You basically have liberal Democrats who want the whole kit and caboodle, and then you've got others who are a bit nervous about that and would rather just do the infrastructure part.
There are also divisions among some Republicans on this bill. The New York Times reporting that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi intends to bring the measure up again today to give her some more time to reach a deal on a separate climate and safety net package. Meantime, MU Healthcare scheduled a groundbreaking for this afternoon for a new $232 million children's hospital and tower in Columbia. The facility's aim is to help the system create one convenient location for all hospital services. The new children's hospital will have a dedicated child-friendly entrance designed to make check-ins easy. It will also feature a nature-inspired interior with natural lighting to promote healing. The new hospital will be located at Hitt and Lake Streets. Again, that ceremony today at 3 o'clock. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. A husband and wife who graduated from Mizzou in the late 1990s will have their names on MU football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia when it opens in either late 22 or early 2023. The UM Board of Curators voting unanimously Thursday to name the building the Stevens Indoor Facility for Brad Stevens and his wife Rachel Cohen Stevens. They have made numerous cash and in-kind contributions. The current Divine Pavilion opened in 1998. It has a 70-yard field. The new 86,000 square foot facility will include a full-length 100-yard football field to be located next to the $98 million South End Zone complex. We have an artist's rendering of this building, how it would look like. You can take a look at that, 93.9theeagle.com. Schnucks is delaying its opening of that new store they've been building on Clark Lane near the Lake of the Woods. I spoke to Schnucks executives yesterday. They say that there's been a shortage of refrigeration and other equipment and other materials that caused them to have this delay. There's also been construction delays due to the pandemic. The executives say they plan to hire 80 employees for the store. It's now expected to open sometime early 22. They don't have an exact date yet. Interested applicants for jobs are encouraged to attend a job fair Thursday, 1 to 5 in the afternoon at the Columbia Forum store or the Jefferson City locations. You can apply at those locations for those stores. You can also apply there for the jobs they're going to be opening on Clark Lane. Make sure you bring your resume. And Columbia-based Shelter Insurance is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. Shelter's president, Randa Rollins, will join Fred Perry tomorrow morning at 7, 93.9 The Eagles CEO Roundtable. She'll discuss Shelter moving into its new 100,000 square foot North Campus facility on Broadway, how that building is being used. Shelter has 1,300 employees here in Columbia. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you live by AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning. For all your heating needs, log on to airserve.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:06. In sports, Dylan Carlson hit 2 home runs. The Cardinals beat Milwaukee 4-3 Thursday at Busch Stadium. Afternoon baseball, J.A. Happ earning his 10th win of the year. Cardinals hosting Chicago tonight, 7:15. Final series of the regular season. Again, all 3 games at Busch. You'll hear tonight's game, 7:15 first pitch, right here on 93.9 The Eagle. Cleveland Indians beating the Royals last night at Kauffman Stadium 6-1. Kansas City opening a 3-game series with the Twins tonight, 7:10. That will be at Kauffman Stadium. And 10 former Mizzou Tigers will be inducted into the University of Missouri Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame tonight. They have a private ceremony, 6:15, Tiger Hotel, downtown Columbia. Inductees include football stars Howard Richards and Merv Johnson. Howard, a second-team All-American at Mizzou in 1980 under Warren Powers, played for Tom Landry at Dallas for 6 years. He's now the analyst on Mizzou Football Radio. Mr. Johnson, an All-Big Seven selection in 1957, later well-known for his work at Notre Dame and also Oklahoma. Joe Montana specifically praised him during his Hall of Fame induction back in 2000. Our sports brought to you by Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:08. Kevin, thanks so much. It's 65.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
Traffic check, MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people, MidmoHires.com. Not seeing anything to report today other than slick roads today with some of that rain, so give yourself some extra time. If you see a traffic issue, call or text us, 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
I can't wait for the weekend to be.
The infrastructure stuff did not go through.
Yeah, so the Democrats are basically the moderate Democrats are holding the bipartisan infrastructure bill hostage in order to get some leverage on the $3.5 trillion Democrats spending spree bill. I think we had heard from Nancy she expected a vote, and she didn't get it last night, and she's not happy about it either.
I like it when. Here's what I like. When people get arrogant and then they're proven wrong. Remember, she exuded lots of, it was beyond confidence. It was arrogance. I never bring a bill to the floor if I don't have the votes. She brought it to the floor.
And she didn't bring, but she doesn't have the votes. She's not going to bring it.
Right now.
And whether or not it actually came up for a formal vote or whether, right now, publicly, everyone knows she doesn't have the votes. It's, it's embarrassing for the Democrats because they just can't get on the same page, and they've been working really hard at it. So they did, I guess, is it good news? The government didn't shut down, so they did get that across the line.
Anybody got a quarter in their pocket right now? I could flip a coin on this.
Good news.
Yeah. We're going to cover more of that in the Daily DC Rundown with Stephanie Bell coming up at 6:25. So I feel good that we debunked lies this week. Lies by the Democrats here on 93.9.
The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero.
Let me pronounce to my friends that the border is both sovereign and secure.
In terms of deficits, will be smaller than that, perhaps even zero.
Okay, so Pelosi and that politician there at the end, cost of this $5 trillion in interest, the cost is zero. Aaron Hedlund, economics professor at Mizzou, he worked in the Trump administration. Guy debunked the claims that it's zero.
Yeah, he was on the show yesterday, and that will be the next soundbite we run at 6:30. And he says either way, it's $1 trillion. That's what this professor is saying, Professor Aaron Hedlund.
And we wanted to wait for Stephanie to come back to debunk this Shirley Jackson Lee to debunk this claim.
To my friends, that the border is both sovereign and secure.
So it's sovereign and secure.
Wow.
So we were going to debunk this yesterday. We thought, no, we need the expertise of Stephanie. Can you debunk? It doesn't need debunking. We know, but doesn't that highlight this week? We saw the Speaker of the House just flat out lie. The cost is zero. We saw another person, Shirley Jackson Lee, who's been in politics forever, just flat out lie. And the problem is people see that on ABC, NBC, CBS, maybe read it on US. Oh, yeah, surely the border's secure. And they go with that because they're not as involved with news as you are listening here to Wake Up Columbia on 93.9 The Eagle.
Yeah, and I think, people trust their elected officials that they know. And, I mean, there's been a lot of our congresspeople in Missouri who have gone down there, unlike Kamala, who have, visited the border and who have come back telling insane stories about what is happening, seeing it with their own eyes. And so I think you see these people in D.C. saying blah, blah, blah. But, I'm looking at, Vicky Hartzler. Even Mark McCloskey went down to the border and told some crazy stories on our show about what he witnessed.
Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, she's here at 810 Crazy Weekend, D.C. The inside scoop from your Congresswoman. Vicky Hartzler here at 810 on a Feel Good Friday. Plus John Kennedy. The senator from Louisiana, he's at it again. I think this dude is sitting at night, and instead of focusing on legend, he's writing comedy. We heard this gem a couple of weeks ago.
Pink-haired wokers who don't know their ass from their elbow.
He wrote a new line last night. This was on Tucker Carlson on Fox.
Pink-haired wokers who carry around Ziploc bags of kale.
By the way, nothing wrong with pink hair. You want to put pink hairspray in your hair? I don't care.
Do you have something against kale? Is that what he said? Ziploc bags of kale?
I had a very, very bad experience with kale.
Are you serious?
It's one of the worst, vegetables. Or is it a vegetable?
It's really bitter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. When I was in Florida, the kitchen, the break room, our news director, Jeff Knox, young guy from San Francisco, with kale that he'd bring in almost every day for lunch. And one time he microwaves it.
Ooh.
See, even when your news director is going, whoa. And I get real sensitive to smells, and I was like,
yeah, you do.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Kale.
The only time I've ever had it that I like it, you can put it in the oven and basically turn it into a chip, and then if you put enough salt on it, it's just like a vehicle for a lot of salt. And
Good morning, Stephanie Bell.
Good morning,
Mr. Hauswirth.
Good morning, sir.
Here. There's Hannah, the producer.
What's up?
My name is Branden Rathert. By the way, some bonus material. Wake Up Columbia Facebook page. We did a photo shoot yesterday in downtown not before it got windy, because it got windy. Brian and I, our hair was good.
Stephanie and I did not fare as well as y'all did.
And we've got, did you post the video of you with the hair in your face on the Facebook page?
Not yet. Should I?
I think you should. I love it. So Hannah's telling me about this. So we're downtown. We're stopping. The photographer, LG from Inside Columbia Magazine, by the way, he took some pictures from Roots and Blues last week. A national publication is using one of the pictures that he took. Several national publications are. He took a picture of Sheryl Crow and some other folks winning something. National publications using LG's photos. But Hannah says, I got video. We were walking. We were stopping traffic, walking down the middle of the street.
We got laughed at by a college girl with her car window down.
She had a bag of kale and pink hair.
Oh, my gosh.
So we're stopping traffic and everything, and then it gets windy. And, of course, Hannah and Stephanie doesn't bode well for them, but there's a picture. Hannah's walking, and this hair. It's like the girl from The Ring. Remember The Ring? That monster crawls out of the TV and the hair's in the face. That's kind of the image that you get. So we've got bonus material on there. And can we talk about this new video feature this morning? Are we supposed to hold on this or?
I tweeted about it, so I hope we can talk about it.
It's out there. So, you can go to the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page, and you can watch the show every morning. If you can, and I get it. A lot of people, why when I'm in the car, I can't watch them. We know, but there's folks that can't. They're sitting at home. They're watching whatever. You can go back and watch the video even after the show's over. And so we've had people say, hey, you know what else would be easy? So I can pop it up on my TV, because more and more people they're watching TV off of YouTube stuff. And we have a YouTube channel now that Hannah created, and now you can watch the show. Is it working on YouTube this morning?
It is. The name of our channel is just 93.9 The Eagle.
Okay.
So you can find us there.
93.9 The Eagle. And the cool thing about that, so let's say you're getting ready for work this morning. It's only 6:18. It's Feel Good Friday. You can pop, you get the YouTube up on the TV. I don't know how to do it, but it can be done. My 3-year-old, 4-year-old granddaughter, Harper Lee, that's all she watches. She gets that TV remote and pops up the YouTube on there.
Wow. How does it feel to know that a 3-year-old can do that and you can't? Just curious.
I just accept the fact I'm a digital immigrant. And if I were that interested in watching YouTube on my TV, I would do it, but I'm just not interested.
Confirmation bias.
There you go. So you get onto YouTube and you just search the 93.9 The Eagle channel, and you can watch it on there. So the benefit to you, because that's what a lot of people are saying, hey, I don't mind watching on my computer. Is there a way I can put it up on the TV in the morning? So I'm running around the house, getting ready, dealing with the kids. I would love to have it up on the TV because I can watch, listen, and the kids can take an interest in what's happening in the world and be informed and hear our opinions, because that's what they need to take to school with them, opinions from Wake Up Columbia. When they see a BLM sign in their hallway, well, you know what Stephanie on Wake Up Columbia said about this? She spoke the truth. That's why we're doing it. So you can go on the Wake Up Columbia's Facebook page and watch, but now you can go to YouTube. You can put it up there on your TV. Before we move forward, fake news.
Tell you what, though, the word on the street is that they're going to sell this franchise. We won't get a better duo, I'll tell you that, than the two DeWitts.
Mike Shannon, who's down to 3 more ball games. Here are the last 3 games starting tonight on 93.9 The Eagle. Brian comes to this photo shoot yesterday and says, hey, I don't know if you guys heard this, but there's a big Cardinal fans are kind of freaking out.
Yeah, and I had just, obviously I don't look at my phone, and I don't when I'm driving, but when I parked and we were just getting ready for the photo shoot, this was just around 4 o'clock, I happened to just check news stories, and Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch and Brian Kelly at KMOX, which is the flagship station. I hadn't heard the comment, by the way, had both reported that Shannon had essentially said that one had the exact quote, one paraphrased, and in both tweets, one from Brian Kelly, one from Derek Gould of the Post, they had both spoken to Mr. Mozeliak, and he had, paraphrasing here, he had said, no, there's no truth to that. So I was just taken aback by that.
I'm guessing that's not all Mr. Mozeliak said when they got to the press box. Mike is on the radio on 93.9 The Eagle and the Cardinal Network saying, and I'm sure before, as Mr. Mozeliak is probably sitting there with his bag of popcorn and a beer, and the reporter comes, what did he say? I'm guessing. I don't know for a fact. I'm guessing that's kind of how it went down. Coming up, Irl Shannon. We're celebrating this dude on a Feel Good Friday. Last year, he was in the 6th grade calling high school football games on YouTube. He was shut down by Misha.
He was on Facebook.
He's on
Fact
Facebook.
Check.
I said YouTube. He was on Facebook. Misha shut him down.
Easy. Slow down.
Irl, he's 7th grade doing play-by-play. The kid is phenomenal. He's here at 6:35. Brad Tregnago, 7:35. Previewing Mizzou football. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, 8:10. Daily DC Rundown coming up 6:25. Big stories today.
Well,
Yeah,
infrastructure.
okay.
But wait, someone's flexing, saying they've talked to Trump a dozen times since January. Who is it?
We're going to find out who that is. Daily DC Rundown with Stephanie Bell coming up at 6:25-ish on 93.9 The Eagle.
Cadillac Blackjack, get down.
Wake Up Columbia with Branden Rathert.
I always get tongue-tied and shudder when I'm on the radio.
Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
They deflect. They think they're entitled to something. They think that highways are racist. They want all this money for their Green New Deal projects. And again, the American people, we're not having it. I'm telling you, AOC and the squad, they're getting slapped with facts, and they don't like it. So their response is a childish amateur hour.
Amateur hour. That is Florida Congresswoman Kat Cammack talking about the failure of the infrastructure package, at least for right now. That gets us into today's Daily DC Rundown with Stephanie Bell.
Yeah, for right now, they've been working very hard. In fact, Biden canceled a trip earlier this week, and he's been having one-on-one meetings. The White House has been making calls, trying so hard, but they need all 50 votes in the Senate. to get some stuff passed. And so now the House is holding up this infrastructure package. And basically they're just holding it hostage because Pelosi's been trying to tie the two bills together. Of course, in the $3.5 trillion bill, the progressives and the Green New Deal, and they're getting basically everything they want, except Bernie. Bernie said, I wanted 6. I wanted 6. So now what they're doing is they're basically saying, hey, we're not going to vote on this bipartisan bill, which has already passed through the Senate, and said we're not going to vote on the bipartisan bill until you give us what till we pare that down. I think Manchin has said, I'm not at 3.5. I'm at 1.5. And so, we're hearing some murmurs from the Democrats. We're really close. But in my mind, like $3.5 trillion and $1.5 trillion are not very close.
It's not. I envision Bernie Sanders, who wants $6-7 trillion in infrastructure spending. He's sitting in his office this morning with mittens, arms folded.
A grumpy look on his face.
Grumpy look on his face.
And so, another interesting tidbit from yesterday. I guess Mike Pence had told some folks that he has been talking to Trump. He has spoken to Trump about a dozen times since January. And it's kind of an indication of, he's posturing and, who's going to run in 2024. But he's kind of, they were kind of at odds for a bit. But he's kind of saying, hey, I'm Trump and I are still buddies. And so it's interesting as we get closer to 2024, how and who is going to play for that Trump endorsement and whether or not it's helpful or not, right? It's the verdict's kind of still out on that.
We'll see, and that's your daily D.C. Rundown with Stephanie Bell. Do want to mention your local Congresswoman, Vicky Hartzler, who earlier this week called for the resignation to his face, by the way. This wasn't on Twitter. It wasn't an interview. In effect, into General Mark Milley's face, that you should resign. She's here with more on that. What was going through her mind when she asked Mark Milley to resign? And then, of course, the infrastructure stuff. She is here at 8:10. Coming up. So Fox News, of course, here at 6:30. Do Dems even have the hope? Do they even have the hope of getting votes to push this forward? They have that. Then Brian Hauswirth is here featuring audio from a Mizzou economics professor who worked in the Trump administration regarding this idea that the cost is zero. And then Irl Shannon, seventh grader, doing play-by-play for Centralia. He's here at 6:35.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. The House set to vote on a bipartisan infrastructure bill today after a delay. Lawmakers also need to tackle an even more divisive measure.
There are intense negotiations to work out a framework for the social spending package. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin finally made it clear that he only supports $1.5 trillion in spending. Fox obtained a memo written over the summer where Manchin indicated $1.5 trillion was all he could back.
Fox's Chad Pergram. And some post office deliveries could be getting even slower.
It affects some first-class mail and periodicals. And a Postal Service spokesperson says while about 61% of first-class mail, like standard-sized letters, won't be affected, there will be an increase in long-distance delivery time.
Cleaners, it is 6:31. Robinson saves you time. Right now, 65 in Columbia at 64 degrees. In Jefferson City, we are expecting a high today of around 81 with scattered storms. Storms in the forecast again for tonight, a low near 66. The sun will rise at 7:04 this morning. Good morning, everyone. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has delayed a key vote on a massive infrastructure bill after a revolt from progressives in the Democratic caucus. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia the measure will cost $1 trillion.
Basically, what they're saying is if you spend $1 trillion and then do $1 trillion of tax hikes, it's zero cost, which of course is not the case. If you spend $1 trillion, the cost is $1 trillion. Whether you finance it with borrowing or with tax hikes.
New York Times reports House leaders intend to bring the measure up again today on Capitol Hill to give Speaker Pelosi more time to reach an agreement on a separate climate change and safety net bill. Meantime, Centralia residents have collected more than 300 signatures to reinstate an officer who says he was wrongly fired amid fallout between city government and the Centralia Police Department. His name is Patrick McGee. He tells ABC 17 News last night that he was wrongly fired a month ago over an alleged policy violation. KMIZ reports McGee is one of 3 officers who have left Centralia Police in the past 2 months. City Administrator Heather Russell has not returned a phone call from 93.9 The Eagle about this story. State officials will join MU healthcare leaders for today's groundbreaking for the $232 million new children's hospital project. That ceremony starts at 3 Hit and Lake Streets on MU Healthcare's main hospital campus. MU Healthcare says the new hospital will help the health system integrate to create one centralized location for all hospital services. The current children's hospital is located on Keene. It's near I-70. MU Women's and Children's is Missouri's only hospital facility that is completely dedicated to children. UM Board of Curators voting unanimously to name Mizzou football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia for 2 longtime supporters of Mizzou athletics. They are graduates Brad Stevens, his wife Rachel Cohen Stevens. They have made cash and in-kind contributions. Construction of the $33 million facility is scheduled to begin this fall. We have an artist's rendering of the project, how it will look, and it's going to be near the south end zone. You can take a look at that rendering, 939theeagle.com. The pandemic and a shortage of refrigeration and other materials have caused Schnucks to delay the opening of its store on Clark Lane. That's near the Lake of the Woods exit in East Columbia. Schnucks spokesman Paul Simon tells 93.9 The Eagle the pandemic has caused a number of construction delays. He says it's been difficult to get building materials, specifically refrigeration equipment. They have a lot of work still to do inside the building. Schnucks plans to hire 80 employees for the new store. It's now expected to open in early 2022. That store, once it opens, will also have a CVS pharmacy inside. And a major insurance company headquartered here in Columbia celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. Shelter Insurance operates in 15 states, 1,300 employees at its Columbia campus on Broadway. Annual payroll, $91 million. Shelter's president, Randa Rollins, will be the guest tomorrow morning at 7 with Fred Perry, right here on 93.9 The Eagle on the CEO Roundtable. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you live by Mid-America Mortgage. Check out midamericamortgage.us and apply now for a loan on your dream home. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:35. In sports, Dylan Carlson hitting 2 home runs. Cardinals beat Milwaukee at Busch Stadium 4-3. J.A. Happ earning his 10th win of the year. Cardinals have 1 series left at home for the regular season tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. It is the Chicago Cubs. They'll play the Cubs tonight at 7:15. Another Friday night packed with high school football. We hope the weather cooperates. Definitely bring your umbrella if you're heading out to the stadiums tonight. Hickman visiting Jefferson City. Atkins Stadium, 100.5 and 105.1 KTGR. Andy Humphrey on the call. Rockbridge heads to Liberty. Battle visiting Smith Cotton in Sedalia. Capital City and Helias on KWOS AM 950 with Kevin Kelly. That will be at Atkins Stadium in Jeff City. And Fulton will take on Mexico, the Big 900 KFAL. Steve Mallinckrodt will have the call there on the Big 900 KFAL. Our sports is brought to you live by Missouri Heart Center, comprehensive cardiovascular care in the heart of Missouri. MoHeartCenter.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:36.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Visit MidmoHires.com. Find a job or to post your job opening today. Things are quiet on the roads. Definitely give yourself a little extra time. The roads are slick, especially Highway 63, or so it seemed this morning. Coming into work this morning in the Grindstone area, primarily because of that drizzle that we were seeing overnight. So give yourself a little extra time. No other problems to report. If you see an issue, give us a call or a text, 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes and breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
Hey, Mr. Boom Shakalaka has arrived. Says, wake up Columbia on Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle. Wake up Columbia on Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle. Wake up Columbia.
Oh, I know what's happening. I was watching the YouTube channel. You can watch on YouTube now. By the way, some folks...
Come on, man!
They're having... so you can watch Wake Up Columbia on YouTube this morning. We had a listener text in saying he's having a hard time finding it. Stephanie and I are searching 93 point. You got to put in that period, 93.9, the Eagle. Are you finding it?
Not exactly.
I'm not either.
My guess is that since it's a new channel, maybe that's why it's not popping up.
Okay. Because we already have listeners asking about watching it on YouTube. So we're on YouTube. Here's the benefit for you. You can now pop this thing up on the TV and watch as you're running around the house getting ready for work. Can you play that again, please?
Is your volume potted down this time?
It's down. Sorry for the delay, folks.
Hey, Mr. Boom Shakalaka has arrived. Says, wake up, Columbia, on Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
Irl Shannon, Centralia, 7th grader, been calling high school football for a couple of games now. Now, see, Earl, I want to tell you, that mistake there, that's intentional. See, this is a learning moment. Everything we just did there, don't do that on your next high school football broadcast, okay?
Yes, totally will not do any of that.
Irl Shannon, 7th grader from Centralia, calling high school football. How you doing nowadays, bud?
I'm doing good. It's football season, the best season of the year.
Amen, brother. So we met you last year. Hannah said, hey, we've got this gem of a kid in Centralia. He's calling high school football, broadcasting the games on YouTube. Then Misha cracked down on you. What happened there?
Well, it was a little misconvenience whenever I was trying to announce a playoff game. But I ended up working it out, and I ended up announcing the football game. So
good. I'm glad. You know, sometimes, and I believe in this. I get it. There's rules, but sometimes, come on, man. You know,
rules have never stopped you before, Branden.
That's true.
Amen.
And a lot of times when I've asked law enforcement, like, come on, man, give me a break. Sometimes they've said no. Irl Shannon, 7th grader in Centralia. By the way, the award-winning news director, Brian Hauswirth, is here. He's done play-by-play in his career. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask him. But set it up tonight's game. Centralia, who they taking on? What can we expect, bud?
Centralia is playing Highland tonight. In a Clarence Canyon Conference matchup. It's actually homecoming for the Panthers, so it should be a nice matchup. Highland is usually the bottom dwellers of our conference, but they've improved over time, and they're no longer the same bottom dwellers that they've been.
You know, Earl, I watched some of your video of you calling, and I don't recall the game, but Hannah played it for us this morning, and you were basically describing the game. Vocabulary was great. You were very descriptive. Is this something you want to do in the future? Because I love your excitement, I love your preparation, and just your positive attitude. That's a big deal. Is this something you like to do, or is it something that's kind of a hobby? Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, happy 50th birthday, Brian.
Thank you. Very nice. I appreciate that, Earl. Thank you.
Mr. Shannon does his homework.
He does. Very impressive.
Man.
And second of all, yes, it is something that I would like to do in my future career. I'd prefer to announce college athletics than announce professional athletics. I don't know why. That's always been something with me. I prefer to watch college athletics than watch professional athletics.
And you make a lot more money, too.
That's true.
And by the way, you're not getting paid to do this as I understand it.
Yep, I am not getting paid to do this. All by pure willpower.
Nice. Pure willpower. Kids in the 7th grade, man.
That's amazing. And great, just great description, too.
Now, Earl, I've seen on Facebook, do you play football at Chesterbourne Middle School?
Yes, I do play football.
So do you anticipate that, becoming an issue here in a couple years when you start high school and you're going to be on the field on Friday nights? What are you going to do?
Yes, I will have to think that over, and I'll have to decide what I'm going to choose. For right now, I'm in 7th grade, and that doesn't constrict, so I won't be making that decision right now.
There's going to be a big announcement from Irl Shannon in a couple years. I've decided to retire from the game of football and concentrate on my broadcast career. What do you like better? Do you like playing or do you like announcing, doing play-by-play better?
I don't know. It's pretty close. I like going out on the field and making contact and playing my hardest. But at the same time, I'm a big talker, and I like to just talk.
That's hilarious. Irl Shannon does play-by-play for the Centralia Panthers high school football team, and we can watch these games on Facebook.
Yep, that is correct.
All right. Do you have any questions? Oh, I have a question for you. Earl Shannon, are you related to this dude? Apparently, I still have the...
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Pull it together, Rathert.
I'm excited about YouTube. You can watch the show on YouTube.
Are we talking about Mike Shannon?
Earl, I'm going to play some audio here for you. Check this out.
Tell you what, though, the word on the street is that they're going to sell this franchise. We won't get a better duo, I'll tell you that, than the two DeWitts.
You related to Mike Shannon?
I am not related to Mike Shannon, though I am related to a couple parents older up that are very quiet, my grandparents as well, which even makes it more weirder why I'm an announcer.
I'm related to my grandparents, and they are very quiet. So, and again, this is another learning experience. I don't know if you know about Mike Shannon, but he's known to imbibe prior to and during the broadcast of games. Don't do that, okay?
Will not do that. Luckily, it's Mike Shannon's 50th year, so that's kind of his excuse.
He's got right. He's been drinking, been doing it for 50 years, and he's on the way out. I mean, why not go? By the way, ownership immediately, not even after the game, ownership approached during the game yesterday, and they're like they were apparently throwing beer. What? That is just not true. Any questions for Brian Hauswirth, who is he gets paid. He's been paid. He's a professional when it comes to doing play-by-play. Any questions for Brian?
Not any particular ones, but you can give me some advice.
I think the best advice I'd give you is to pursue your dreams and keep being you. It's a tough business. It's competitive, but I tell you, I love your positive attitude, and I can tell you prepare. You know the names, the rosters, and again, I didn't know these teams, but I just could tell the way you set it up. It was a great scene setter. It was kind of reminded me of Al Michaels kind of setting a game up on Sunday night, the way you did it. Just keep being you, and you've got a lot of time ahead of you, and you're only going to get better. And anything we can do to help, let us know. But I was very, very impressed.
Tell stories and paint a picture, Earl.
That's right.
What would it take to get him to do a game, a high school game of the week on one of our radio stations in the Zimmer? I think that would be so cool. Don't get your hopes up, Earl. I'm talking out of line. Anna is looking at me like... But how cool would that be if we could get Earl to do at least one game this season on one of our Zimmer radio stations?
I'd love it.
Can you imagine the entire town of Centralia tuning into 93.9 The Eagle on a feel-good Friday night?
Oh.
All of mid-Missouri, I think, would want to hear that. Hey, we promote it. Hey, we've got a 7th grader calling a football game on a very powerful news talk radio station. How cool would that be, Earl?
I'd be very proud to do that, especially on all the amazing stations that you guys have.
That's great.
He's good.
He's very good.
He knows how to butter us up.
Yeah, he does.
And man, I wonder if we could even pay the kid.
That'd be awesome.
I think it's like $10 a game that you get paid. No, it's not that. Hey, Earl, we love you, man. Let's hang out again next Friday if it's cool with your parents. Let's hang out again next Friday and celebrate the efforts and your desire and your passion as a 7th grader, okay?
Sounds right. Sounds good.
Okay, and here's one more thing. When you get into school today, pat yourself on the back a little bit. Tell your friends, hey, I was on Wake Up Columbia this morning. I was hanging out with Branden and Stephanie and Brian and Hannah.
And I was on YouTube.
And I was on YouTube, and I was on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page. We'll have a podcast. Hannah puts up the podcast every day. You can go to the website, 93.9 The Eagle, and in class, get your friends to listen to it or pull it up on the... Are you allowed to be on Facebook yet?
I somewhat am. I'm not allowed to, but I figured my way around it. I am on it, and I've been trying to do my live streams on my Facebook page, but I haven't figured it out quite yet, so I'm still using my dad's.
Can we get another round of applause for
awesome.
I'm not supposed to be, but I have figured my way around it. You're going to do just fine when you get into your teens. Irl Shannon, Centralia, we love you, man.
Have a good day, Earl.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely.
Right. I love this kid, man.
That's
I'm not
wonderful.
supposed to be.
Well, Stephanie has some advice. Yes. Because I sent you the link.
Stay connected. Stay with Wake Up Columbia. Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
New this morning, you can watch Wake Up Columbia on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel.
It's called 93.9 The Eagle.
So we say 93.9 The Eagle all the time. We don't say 93.9 because 93.9 saves like 0.2 of a second. From one of our consultants. See, if you don't say the point, you save 0.2. Older consultant, not the one we have now, in case said consultant is listening.
Good save. Good save.
And it's just cooler to say 93.9. People get it. But when you go to the YouTube channel, when you go to YouTube.
So if you're having a hard time finding us by searching for our channel name, Stephanie's sister-in-law said if you change the search filter to filter for live videos, then it's a lot easier to find.
Thanks, Amy. And she also said you can subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes,
so then
you
in the
can.
future, you can find it a lot easier as well.
You can subscribe, which is basically like giving us a follow or as if you're like liking our page. And you can also comment over there as well.
And the cool thing is so on Facebook, it's not always convenient. You can still watch on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page. But on YouTube, you can put that up on your TV. So like when you're getting ready, it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet. It's like 6:55. It's a feel-good Friday. You can, get YouTube up on, I can't, but you could probably. My 4-year-old granddaughter, Harper Lee, can get it up on the TV. So you can put it up on the TV, and that way as everybody's running around the house, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, your kids get an education. And you get to know what's going on. And the other thing is, too, you always get behind-the-scenes info. Like you see things that when you're listening, and there's some of the stuff that you can do on video on YouTube and on Facebook that you can't do on the radio. Welcome. There's Stephanie Bell, head of the producer. Brian Hauswirth is here. My name is Branden. Rathert, what are you feeling good about? What are you grateful for today? We're going to have a big old listener mailbag this morning. We do that about 8:55 every morning. Also, winners and losers of the week, 8:35. Maybe, if we get to it.
Yeah, right. What did I tell you this morning?
So
it's a good idea, but my faith in it actually happening, not there.
By the way, Fox News coming up 7 o'clock. So we know the infrastructure did not go through yesterday. Didn't happen. Do Dems even have the hope of getting the votes to cram this thing through? Fox News is on that. Now, the feds are going to keep the lights on for you at least until December. Brian Hauswirth is here, local professor. Aaron Hedlund, economics professor at Mizzou, worked in the Trump administration debunking numerous lies from some of these folks, including the Speaker of the House of the United States lied, said the cost of this is zero. He'll be featuring that. And then I think at 7:10, we got to get to know Brian a little bit. He's been here. I know him.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I know him, and I've been knowing him for years. But maybe we should get to know Brian at 7:10. So I told Hannah, how about we do that at 7:10? I said, what do you think, Hannah? You think it's a good idea? She said, yeah, but...
I told you I thought it was a good idea, but did I think it was going to happen in that segment? No.
So will it or won't it?
You can flip a coin, really.
We'll find out at 7:10.
It's time for the Doltment of the Day on Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
Your Doltment of the Day. Dumb people in the news doing dumb things. Sometimes just, gems of stories like this one from Wisconsin where cops trying to locate a $1,400 bronze sculpture of nursery rhyme character Humpty Dumpty. Somebody went and stole... Yeah. A bronze structure of Humpty Dumpty. Bronze, $1,400 worth. Somebody stole it, probably because it has more value than the actual $1,400 in bronze.
I wonder if it's all it was cracked up to be.
Points. He's sitting on a toilet. That's your Doltment of the Day.
Democrats are still trying to unite. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
If they didn't have the votes last night, they didn't have the votes Monday. I don't see how they have the votes today.
Republican Congressman Greg Steube, as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi keeps working with progressives in her party who refuse to support a bipartisan infrastructure bill unless there's agreement on a $3.5 trillion in spending on things like child and health care and climate change initiatives. But a moderate Democrat is holding that up.
West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says he remains firmly against spending $3.5 trillion because he believes such massive spending could crush the economy. Instead, he's proposing spending $1.5 trillion. Late last night, he told reporters those negotiations continue.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Lawmakers did agree to short-term funding through December 3rd, hours before a looming government shutdown. It was sent to President Biden, who signed it. Some of the money in that funding goes to helping resettle Afghan refugees, and more have arrived in the U.S., including some Americans evacuated. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, more than 100 U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents that were evacuated to the United Arab Emirates from Afghanistan have finally landed in the U.S. 59 children and their families made it to Chicago's O'Hare Airport yesterday after temporarily being held up for vetting. The Department of Homeland Security had denied U.S. landing rights for the plane load of evacuees. The veteran-led nonprofit group Project Dynamo organized the evacuation. They're now helping them with housing. Dave.
Tanya, the COVID mandates taking effect. New York City teachers have until today to get a vaccine or be put on unpaid leave.
City officials in New York say they'll have thousands of substitutes standing by for teachers who fail to present vaccination cards. Union officials say they're also concerned about staff beyond teachers, like custodians, cafeteria workers, and safety officers.
Fox's Rich Edson. COVID deaths in the U.S. now just shy of 700,000. America's listening to Fox News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News with Robinson's Cleaners. It is 7:03. Robinson saves you time. Right now in Columbia, our current temperature on this Friday morning, 65 degrees at 63 degrees in Jefferson City. We're expecting rain today with a high of 81, rain tonight at a low near 66 degrees. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start with a traffic update. We've heard from a number of listeners this morning in the last few minutes, and I've just confirmed with Joint Communications. We've got a vehicle collision. This is southbound Highway 63 at North Old Highway 63. And the way they described it to me, Joint Communications, it is just north of West Dripping Springs. It's the southbound lanes. North Old Highway 63 is what that official road is known as, southbound 63. It is north of the interstate, vehicle collision, and there is traffic backing up right now. So if you're in that area, be prepared for some delays. That is north of the interstate. If you're in there and have some more information about where exactly that is and any of the backups, certainly give us a call or a text if it's safe to do so. We'll keep you posted on that. Meantime, the U.S. House has delayed a vote on a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia there are divisions in the House Democratic caucus.
You basically have liberal Democrats who want the whole kit and caboodle, and then you've got others who are a bit nervous about that and would rather just do the infrastructure part.
There are also some divisions among the GOP on this bill. The New York Times reporting Speaker Pelosi intends to bring the measure up again today, and that will be to give her some more time to reach a deal on a separate climate and safety net package. Coming up at 8:10 this morning on Wake Up Columbia, Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, who represents Columbia on Capitol Hill, will join us live here on the show to talk about what's happening with the military hearings, certainly talk about this issue as well. MU Healthcare has scheduled a groundbreaking for this afternoon for a new $232 million children's hospital and tower in Columbia. The facility's aim is to help the system create one convenient centralized location for all hospital services. The new hospital, once it's built, will feature a nature-inspired interior with natural lighting to promote healing. There'll also be special outdoor areas for children to play, along with flower gardens, additional places to relax. This new hospital will be located at Hitt and Lake Streets. That groundbreaking ceremony will take place today, 3 o'clock this afternoon. A husband and wife who graduated from Mizzou in the late 1990s will have their names on MU football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia when it opens up in 2022 or 2023. UM Board of Curators voting on Thursday to name the building the Stevens Indoor Facility for Brad and his wife, Rachel Cohen Stevens. A shortage of refrigeration equipment and other materials has caused St. Louis-based Schnucks to delay the opening of its store on Columbia's Clark Lane. That is near the I-70 Lake of the Woods exit. Schnucks spokesman Paul Simon tells 93.9 The Eagle there have been construction delays due to the pandemic. He says they plan to hire 80 employees for the store. It's now expected to open in early 2022. Still a lot of work to do inside the store. Simon encourages, if you're interested in a job there, to attend Thursday's job fair 1 to 5. It'll be at the Columbia Forum store or Jeff City location. You can apply for jobs at those two stores, or you can also apply at those two stores for the Clark Lane jobs. Make sure you bring your resume. Again, that's Thursday, 1 to 5. And Columbia-based Shelter Insurance celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. Their CEO, Randa Rollins, will join Fred Perry tomorrow morning at 7, 93.9 The Eagles CEO Roundtable. Our news is brought to you this morning by Candy Factory. The Candy Factory makes fresh daily their secret caramel sauce for their caramel apples. You can pick up today. Candy Factory, downtown Columbia. Anniversary, birthday, any day. CandyFactory.biz. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:07. In sports, Cardinals beat Milwaukee last night 4-3. They host Chicago tonight at Busch 7:15. Catch all the action. 93.9 The Eagle. Cleveland beating the Royals last night at the K 6-1. And 10 former Mizzou Tigers will be inducted into the University of Missouri Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame tonight. Private ceremony 6:15, Tiger Hotel in downtown Columbia. The inductees include football stars Howard Richards and Merv Johnson. Howard, a second-team All-American at Mizzou in 1980 under Warren Powers, played 6 years for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in a backfield with Tony Dorsett and Danny White. What a great quarterback Danny White was. Howard, now an analyst for Mizzou Radio. Merv Johnson, all Big 7 selection, 1957. Later, the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, Oklahoma for years, and he wrapped up his career as the analyst on Oklahoma Football Radio. Merv will be in town as well today and tonight. 93.9 The Eagle Sports is presented by Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:08. All right, Kevin, thank you. 65 degrees.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
Traffic check, MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Again, we've got an accident. Joint Communications telling the Eagle just moments ago, a vehicle collision southbound 63 at North Old Highway 63. Quite frankly, I don't remember that ever being called North Old Highway 63, but that is what it's officially called, and that is near West Dripping Springs Road.
I like that commentary from the news director.
Yeah, that's the official name.
Frankly, I don't recall it ever being called this.
That's the official name. That is an old school name for sure, but it's west of West Dripping Springs, so be prepared for that. If you're in there, have some more information, 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
Welcome into a Feel Good Friday.
Yeah. The problems we had yesterday were wind, period. I am grateful that I get to hang out at the 93.9 The Eagle Tiger Tailgate tomorrow. It'll be my first Tiger Tailgate, so I'm looking forward to getting to hang out with you guys.
Being Wake Up Columbia, have some common sense as well. Travis, we appreciate you. 874-9390. Nancy, welcome into the show. What are you feeling good about on a Feel Good Friday?
Oh, I'm happy that I got to go to the ball game yesterday. It was so fun, full of energy, and
you won some tickets from Wake Up Columbia here.
I did. I did. It was. Yeah.
Nancy brought in what's the brand? What's the ice cream that you guys make?
Honey ice cream.
Honey ice cream. My goodness, she brought in a whole bunch of ice cream the other day, and
Did you get to try it?
Oh yes, I did.
It was so good.
And
right.
here's what's so good about it is the flavor, and there's different flavors. So I'm thinking, oh, it's just all. And I'd heard of honey ice cream before.
Yeah. We'll be at the farmers market tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, farmers market in Columbia. Look for honey ice cream. Please check them out. The texture of the ice cream.
Hey, do I get to win tickets to the playoffs if that happens? Can I?
Nancy, I like where your head's at. We'll leave it at that, okay? Let's see you. Thank you for being a member of the Wake Up Columbia family here on 93.9 The Eagle. Brand new family member checking in. I'm feeling good about knowing this time next week I'll be in San Diego watching my son graduate from Marine Corps boot camp.
Wow.
Stephanie from Ashland.
Not this Stephanie.
My 6-year-old son's graduating from boot camp.
I've also got Amy checking in saying she's grateful for class reunions and homecoming. And I know a lot of our mid-Missouri schools, I think Southern Boone too, are celebrating homecomings this week. So beyond Mizzou, I know that's a fun time. And lots of mid-Missouri celebrations.
That's very cool. A lot of folks feeling good about a lot of things today. What is it you're grateful for? 874-9390 Mizzou football. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about doing the Tiger Tailgate tomorrow. Free passes all over town. Go to our website. Brad Tregnago, 7:35 preview of the game. And maybe some odds and ends, tidbits of info that we wouldn't know. He's so good about that. Yes. 7:35. We get to hear him here on the show.
Have you started saving your receipts yet? Is today the day?
Do we feel good about this? Can we blame this on Joe too?
No.
All right. Something you want to keep in mind today when you hit the gas pumps.
Yeah, you're going to want to start saving your receipts, right, Brian?
Yeah, exactly. And that the gas tax is taking effect. I believe it's today or tomorrow, and it's unusual in that usually a law takes effect August 28th, but this one I do believe is today. And it's just the way that the bill was set up, but it's going to be a 2.5 cent per gallon gas tax increase. Overall, it's 12.5 cents, Stephanie, over 5 years. But to start, it's 2.5. But to your point, there is a rebate provision in there, and it's set up the way the South Carolina legislature did it. And it's apparently been successful down there. But you do have to save all of your receipts. And it's a little complex to explain, but basically, if in a nutshell, you can turn those in at the end of the year and try to get a rebate. That's how it's supposed to work.
And Branden did the math at one point. What were you going to owe extra a year? It was like $30 or something?
Something like that, yeah, over the period. If I'm basing it on my my habits, I've got a 22-gallon tank, 22, and basically that'll get me not quite a month, I don't guess, but 22. If I fill up twice a month, 44 gallons, an extra 2.5 cents, 88 cents. What is that? A buck, little over $1 a month is what I'm going to be paying. So it's going to be $12 a year more than I'm going to be saving or spending. Mm-hmm. But if I save the receipts, then I can send them to the Department of Revenue or somebody.
The way that didn't get as much attention at the legislature, and even reading the bill. They mentioned you would file it, and a couple of the lawmakers said that they're lucky they have tax people because it's a little complex. But my understanding is you will file it with the Department of Revenue, or if you have a tax person that does your taxes, you'll need to bring those receipts in. But every one of them if you don't have the receipt, you can't claim it, is what Pro Tem Schatz has said.
So yeah, the receipt. So and keep this in mind too, because I know it's so easy. Because, you go to the gas station and, do you want a receipt? Are you a Club Rewards member? Do you want a car wash?
No one ever asks me if I want a receipt. They ask me if I want a receipt.
And we're so used to hitting no. I know I say receipt. I say that funny. I vehemently stand by my enunciation. And I know it's wrong, but I say receipt. I vehemently.
But you're right that the gas pump now asks you, it feels like an inquisition. There are so many questions, and it's just like, is there a bypass? Just like, do you need gas? Yes.
874-9390. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want to save your receipts and get your money back at the end of the year, you can do that. So when it asks, do you want your receipt at the gas pump? Yes. If you're so inclined, if you want your 12, 20, 30. Here's what I'm really worried about, though. A lot of these local businesses that, let's say landscaping, delivery services, it's going to hit them hard unless they save the receipts and then go through the hassle of sending all that back in. Scotty, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Gas taxes.
Okay.
My average fuel consumption monthly is $3,800 to $4,200 a month.
How many gallons?
Oh, hell, you'd have to figure that up.
I can't do math. So it's 2.5 cents extra per gallon.
Well, I'm fueling. You got to figure it up. I'm fueling up a half a dozen trucks and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And now I saved my receipts anyway. So now my CPA charge is going to go up because she's got to mess with this crap. Yep. And now we're going to have, what's this other one I've been seeing about, Slow Joe, and this 8 cents a mile something coming in that's written into this bill. Have you all been watching that?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that's going to do? They just really do not want small businesses working, do they?
Well, lucky for us all, Joe can't seem to get anything passed, so...
Yeah, it's fallen apart for him so far this week in D.C. It's frustrating. You know, the Democrat Party, they just don't get it, where they're hamstringing people like you, Scotty. You're small local business owners like you are the backbone of commerce and business in Missouri. It's not these big companies, although we appreciate them too. It's you guys, man.
These guys need to get in touch with reality.
They're lost.
They need to come out here and see what's really going on. We don't eat $20 pints of ice cream out here. We eat Wells Blue Bunny and Best Choice for $4.95. And I'm getting tired of our tax money. Just how many tenths of a cent do they think's in $1? How many 16ths of a cent do they think's in $1? And how often are they going to keep doing this?
Scotty, I feel your pain, but let's end it with this. What are you grateful for today? What are you feeling good about?
I'm grateful I ain't in Washington, D.C., because I got a lot of rope in a big truck, and a lot of them people need to be drugged down the street and woke up.
Scotty, you have a great day. We appreciate that. 874-9390. Michael, welcome into the show. What can we do for you today?
Brandon, I feel good today because I woke up on this side of the dirt. Is that good?
That works.
But I feel good because you got a son that's about to graduation. That's a big deal. I was stationed out in San Diego.
Oh, man. How cool is
when
that?
When you go out there, you got to check out 32nd Street Naval Base, so it's pretty cool.
All right. Stephanie from Ashland says she's feeling good this time next week. She's going to be in San Diego watching her son graduate from the Marine Corps boot camp.
I thought that was you.
No, it's not me.
I'm sorry.
No, Michael, it's good. You're giving kudos to somebody you don't even know in mid-Missouri, and that's the beauty of Wake Up Columbia, man. We're all a family here. And what was the tip you had for Stephanie?
Make sure she stops by 32nd Street Naval Base.
30 seconds.
It's the biggest naval installation on the West Coast. I think it's even bigger than Hawaii is now.
All right.
But it's pretty cool. Got to check out the big ships. I was stationed on a destroyer out there.
Michael,
cool.
Thank you for passing along a tip to another listener this morning here in Wake Up Columbia on 93.9. The Eagle on 93.9theeagle.com, where you can listen live and you can now watch. So we've been telling you for a year, 2 years really, but then, COVID, and for whatever reason we couldn't broadcast on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page. You can go to YouTube, search live channels, 93.9 live channels.
You'll have to change your filters when you search.
Doesn't see. I'm already lost.
I know.
Okay.
It's written all over your face.
Well, other people aren't lost because there are several people that are watching live now. I can see.
Very cool. So, and the cool thing, here's the benefit for you. You can you can put YouTube up on the TV. So when you're running around the house, it's kind of like listening to the radio, but you also get to see what's going on. And, and we have fun here, too. So you get informed, you get some laughs, you get some entertainment, and your kids get ready for school. They're going to hear some of what's going on.
I know we are running late here, but I do need to fact check something that caller Scotty just said.
Okay.
Is that we don't eat fancy ice cream. Branden Rathert eats fancy ice cream all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like $5 or $6 for a pint of
Magnum ice cream. But I quit doing that. I have lost, compared to a year ago, I've lost 20 pounds. I put on brand new pants yesterday that I bought 2 weeks ago.
Your fancy pants?
My fancy pants that I accidentally paid way too much for. They're too big for me already. I haven't weighed myself this morning, so I was running late. But yeah, that's the other thing I feel. But yeah, the ice cream we had the other day. What's the brand of that ice cream?
I don't know the brand.
Geofree. It starts with a G.
It was really good local honey ice cream from Nancy.
I buy it at Mosher's in Ashland. You can get it locally.
All right. It's it's delicious stuff. What's hot with Hannah today? And the more important question, are we going to have time to get to it?
I don't know, but if we don't, it's still posted on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page.
All right. What's hot with Hannah? Coming up, definitely not at 7:25.
Suckers walk!
This website, this is a valuable tool. The website for the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau is bbb.org. You can see the latest studies. One of the ones that they did recently was at work from home kind of scams. Did this really in-depth study, and it's kind of interesting. Some of the things they put in there. You've also got the scam tracker. You can see to a zip code what kind of scams are being reported, and you can find just information to help you shape your buying decisions from the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau. The website, valuable tool, it's bbb.org.
News and local talk is here. Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
By the way, if you want to join us tomorrow at the Tiger Tailgate, go to our website, find locations where you can get your free passes. These Tiger Tailgates, they are so cool, man. You get, we get you all kinds of food, drinks. You get to hang out with a whole bunch of other folks. In Colombia, you can go to Plasma Biological Services, get your free passes. In Mexico, you can go to Tacos and Tequila, and also the Tacos and Tequila in Fulton. It's... I can't even do 725-ish. I can't even do What's Hot with Hannah. Maybe before we chat with Brad, get a preview of Mizzou football. Some interesting tidbits and info from Brad Tregnago. Maybe we just sneak it in there real quick.
Or you could just go check it out on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page.
All right, that's What's Hot with Hannah. It's on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page. Fox News. I'm wondering, and the crowd on this, do Dems even have the hope? Do they even have hope of getting votes for that $5 trillion infrastructure package? Fox has that. Brian Hauswirth is here. Local economics professor who worked in the Trump administration debunks several lies that were told by Democrats this week regarding this infrastructure package, including one told by the Speaker of the House. That Brad Tregnago is here. 7:35, I have your ABC 17 storm track forecast. Scattered thunderstorms, 81 today. Thunderstorms basically through tomorrow. Tomorrow's high 79, Sunday's high 76. Checking in at 65.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. The U.S. on the verge of a pandemic milestone.
Johns Hopkins University says the United States has seen nearly 700,000 COVID deaths, and infections are still increasing in almost a dozen states. And a new Oxford study shows roughly 1 out of every 3 COVID cases results in long-term symptoms.
Fox's Gary Baumgarten. Now, there could potentially be an advance in fighting the infection. An experimental drug from Merck, which says the pill reduced hospitalizations and deaths by half. And there's a new prerequisite for those looking to get green cards: full vaccination status.
There are some exceptions, like for children under the age of 12. If you had a bad reaction to the first dose of a 2-dose vaccine, you may get considered for an exemption.
Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. It is 7:31. Robinson saves you time. 65 here in Columbia, 64 in Jefferson City. Our high today, 81 with rain. The overnight low tonight, 66 degrees. Good morning, everyone. Columbia Police, other emergency personnel still on scene working that vehicle collision on southbound Highway 63 and North Old 63. This is near West Dripping Springs. It is north of Interstate 70. Again, a vehicle collision. Expect delays due to that incident. No reports right now of any injuries, at least at this time. We'll keep you posted on that. Meantime, Centralia residents are collecting signatures this morning to reinstate a fired police officer. ABC 17 News reports Centralia aldermen are expected to discuss the issue on October the 11th. KMIZ reports more than 300 people have signed a petition to reinstate Officer Patrick McGee. 93.9 The Eagle did try to reach out to Centralia's city administrator yesterday, left a phone message. We have not heard back from her as of yet. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has delayed a key vote on a massive infrastructure bill after a revolt from progressives in her Democratic caucus. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia that the measure will cost $1 trillion.
Basically, what they're saying is if you spend $1 trillion and then do $1 trillion of tax hikes, it's zero cost, which of course is not the case. If you spend $1 trillion, the cost is $1 trillion, whether you finance it with borrowing or with tax hikes.
New York Times reports House leaders intend to bring the measure up again today on Capitol Hill to give them some more time to reach an agreement on separate climate change and also a safety net bill. State officials will be joining MU healthcare leaders for today's groundbreaking for the $232 million new children's hospital project in Columbia. The ceremony will begin at 3, hitting Lake Streets on MU Healthcare's main hospital campus. MU Health says the new hospital will help the health system integrate to create one centralized location for all hospital services. The current children's hospital is located on Keene. It's near I-70. It's in East Columbia. MU Women's and Children's is Missouri's only hospital facility that is dedicated completely to children. Again, today will be a groundbreaking ceremony. The actual tower will be on top of the current facility in that area, and we'll have a rendering up on that within a few minutes right here on 93.9theeagle.com. UM Board of Curators has voted unanimously. They've named Mizzou football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia for 2 longtime supporters of Mizzou athletics. They are MU graduates Brad Stevens and his wife Rachel Cohen Stevens. Construction of the $33 million facility is scheduled to begin this fall. It's being funded through private donations. You can see an artist's rendering of the project contact 939theeagle.com. And the pandemic and a shortage of materials have caused Schnucks to delay the opening again of that store on Clark Lane near the Lake of the Woods exit in East Columbia. Schnucks spokesman Paul Simon tells 93.9 The Eagle that the pandemic has caused construction delays and it's been difficult to get building materials and refrigeration equipment. Schnucks will hire 80 employees for the new store. It's now expected to open in early 2022. The store will have a CVS pharmacy inside. If you're interested in applying for a job there, you're encouraged to go to the career fair that's coming up this coming Thursday, 1 to 5 in the afternoon. You can apply at the store on Forum, or you can go to the store in Jefferson City, apply for jobs there, or apply for the jobs that'll be opening up on Clark Lane after the first of the year. 93.9 The Eagle News, brought to you this hour live by Dr. Kent Willett. Make an appointment now, 573-445-5300, WillettDentalAssociates.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:35. In sports, Dylan Carlson had 2 home runs. Very impressive. The Cardinals beat Milwaukee last night at Busch Stadium 4-3. Businessman special. J.A. Happ earning his 10th win of the year. Cardinals hosting Chicago tonight. That game will be at 7:15. You'll hear it live right here on 93.9 The Eagle. Mike Shannon behind the microphone tonight with John Rooney as well and Mike Claiborne. Another Friday night packed with high school football. Hickman visiting Jeff City tonight, and that will be a big game in certainly in Jefferson City. 100.5 and 105.1 KTGR. Andy Humphrey on the call. Battle visiting Smith Cotton. Rockbridge traveling to Liberty. Inner City battle tonight in Jefferson City. It's Capital City and Helias. News Radio 950 KWS. Kevin Kelly will be on the call there. And Fulton in Mexico. That is the Highway 54 Bowl. It's always a big game. That game will be in Fulton tonight in the Kingdom of Callaway. You'll hear it on the Big 900 KFAL. Steve Mallon crowd. If you ever heard him, he does a great job on the call. He'll have the broadcast tonight. 93.9 The Eagle Sports is presented to you by Dr. Kent Willett Dental Associates. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:36.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check, MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Just a reminder that there is a vehicle collision. We still don't have received any, we've not received any information about injuries. The big problem seems to be some backups, and that is southbound Highway 63 and North Old 63, north of I-70, west Dripping Springs Road is the other area there to describe that. That is north of I-70. You can expect delays there. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes and breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
Tell you what, though, the word on the street is that they're going to sell this franchise. We won't get a better duo, I'll tell you that, than the two DeWitts.
Mike Shannon. Yesterday, a couple of things to know about Mike Shannon, longtime broadcaster, longtime player for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's got 3 games left in his career. He's done. The other thing, I think it is universally accepted, it is common knowledge, is you used to work for the Bushes. You do your games from Busch Stadium. You don't work for the Bushes anymore, but it was nothing back in the day to imbibe. Mike, I think it's universally accepted, still likes to imbibe. Now, I'm not saying... So, Mike Shannon, yesterday, Cardinals ball game, word on the street is that they're going to show the ball club. You couldn't find any better from and then a reporter from the Post-Dispatch, he hears this, he's listening as he's writing there, doing his story for the game. Can you imagine when you're a newspaper reporter, you're writing down everything, and he's sitting there writing, and he's got his little transistor radio, and he's listening, and he's like... What? What did Mike Shannon just say? So this reporter, he gets up, probably puts his beer down, and grabs his pen and paper. He runs up to the press box to chat with one of the DeWitts, and Maziliak said, hey, guys, I don't know what's up with Mike, but he says y'all are selling the ball club. And then in the fancy press box there, but they're probably throwing their beers everywhere. What did he say? Everybody's saying it's not true. Mike Shannon saying that was the word on the street.
You know, and again, he obviously has a lot of sources, and I don't know where he would have gotten that from. But the one thing, it's going to be very interesting. But it was Derek Gould from the Post-Dispatch who obviously moved that story and went up to interview Mr. Mosewak, and also I believe Mr. DeWitt III is the other person that he spoke to. But it was very rare. I've never seen it before, quite frankly, Branden. KMOX actually issued, basically said the comments made by Mike Shannon have been denied, and you don't normally see that because he's on KMOX.
Yeah, that's the flagship station for Cardinal baseball. Here are the final 3 games of Mike Shannon's broadcast career starting tonight here on 93.9 The Eagle. If you'd rather listen to Shapiro and Pags, you can do that on the app. You can also do it online at 93.9 The Eagle. I'm going to Sunday's game. They're doing a big presentation for Shannon, so I'm going there for that. I am stoked. It's Wake Up Columbia. Stephanie. There's Brian, Hannah. My name is Branden. Lifetime family member, whether he likes it or not. Brad Tregnago, who's now, it's Learfield's Brad Tregnago. You hear him on the radio broadcast for Mizzou Sports, doing the pregame, halftime, postgame on the Tiger Network, joining us on the show. Brad, I want to start with Cardinal baseball before we get into a quick preview of Tiger football tomorrow. Andy Humphrey, whom you know very well, he's a member of the family here. I think it was July, and Hannah's been trying to filter through audio and see if we can actually find the audio. I made a bet with Andy in July. I said the Cardinals were a game above 500. I said they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. The batting can't stay dormant this long. The pitching is going to come around. Let me ask you, would you have taken that bet? I bet, and now Andy owes me a steak dinner. He said Cardinals aren't making the playoffs. That was July. Is that a bet you would have taken in July?
Yeah, I would have owed you a steak.
Brad Tregnago.
Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, the run of 20. It's been amazing what they have done. It's been fun to watch. Mike Shannon going out. How cool would that be if the Cardinals? Of course, the big problem is we've got, a one-game wild card playoff against one of 2 teams who both have won more than 100 games, and we got to play in their backyard, so that'll be the next big challenge. Brad Tregnago. You hear him on the Tiger broadcast, Mizzou football broadcast all the time. Play-by-play guy for Mizzou women's basketball. Mizzou at home this weekend. Kind of set up this game for us a little bit, Brad.
Yeah, so it's 2 teams. Mizzou's hosting Tennessee. You've got 2 teams that are 2-2, both 0-1 in the SEC. New coach for Tennessee.
Brad?
The offensive coordinator for a couple of years in the Drew Lock run for Mizzou, and they were able to put up a lot of yards and score a lot of points. And then Heupel parlayed that into a head coaching job at Central Florida, and from there, now he's got the job in Tennessee. So Tennessee, a team that is continued with Heupel, where they're able to put up a lot of yards and score a decent amount of points. They play at a really fast tempo. So it's going to be a different style than what we saw from Boston College and Kentucky, which is a little more deliberate style. But one thing that is in common is that Tennessee, despite being a really up-tempo thing that's run by a former college quarterback, is that they do run the ball really well. They average more than 200 yards a game. So Mizzou's rush defense has really struggled so far this season. They're going to face another big test in terms of stopping the rush coming up tomorrow. It's just going to be done at a different tempo, I think.
All right, so it's Mizzou's Tennessee's matchup tomorrow for the Mizzou Tiger football team.
Brad, it's always great to hear your voice. I appreciate you joining us. I have a question about a gentleman that's going to be honored tonight that you work with every week in the booth and on the broadcast, and that is Howard Richards. And I'm not taking anything away from all the other people that will be inducted. There are a lot of them, and I'll try to touch on as many of them as I can tomorrow on the network. But I'd like to ask you about Howard Richards. You work with him. Everybody knows he played for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in that backfield with Tony Dorsett, 2 NFC East titles, and now the color commentator on the Tiger Network. What is he like to work with? And take us behind the scenes, because you can tell how prepared he is, not just for Mizzou, but the other teams as well. He knows the other teams' trainers, etc. What's he like to work with?
Good to hear from you too, Brian, first of all. But yeah, he's a great guy to work with. Gosh, he's he's approaching a decade now doing that, which is hard to believe when you think about how long the late John Cadillac had that position. But yeah, he's a great guy, really smart guy. I mean, he like you mentioned, he did play for the Dallas Cowboys after his time at Mizzou, an offensive lineman. He was a first-round draft pick for the Cowboys. And, from there he went on. He worked for a little bit in the CIA. So he's a really smart guy, knows a lot of stuff. He's still big enough to where if you go in for like a handshake or something, your hand comes out feeling really sore afterwards. He's still he's got an old man NFL strength still, so you got to be careful about that. But no, he's a lot of fun to be around, and him and our friend Scotty Cox and Mike Kelly sometimes off air, they'll start singing old country songs to each other because they're all about the same age. But he's a lot of fun to be around, and this is a great achievement and a well-deserved honor for him to be a Mizzou Hall of Famer. And then he has his ultimate achievement coming up in a couple months. He taped an episode of Family Feud with some of his family members. So he's going to be on Family Feud with Steve Harvey in a couple of months. So yeah, everything's coming up Howard Richards lately.
That's why we love chatting with Brad Tregnago. He's got those inside nuggets of information that you just can't get anywhere else. Brad Tregnago. Learfield's Brad Tregnago here on the pregame, halftime, postgame host on the Tiger Network. Brad, I'm nominating 8:35. We do it every Friday morning. We nominate winners and losers of the week. I am nominating you for one of our winners of the week for the phrase "old man NFL strength." All right.
Don't underestimate it, man. I'm just warning you now. Get your hand ready.
Brad Tregnago. We love you, man. Brad Tregnago. And as always, text, hey, tell Brad we said hi. We miss him. Well, you get to hear him every Friday here during Mizzou football on 93.9 The Eagle. Damn, this traffic jam. Couple traffic things going on that Brian Hauswirth has been reporting on this morning. Several texts is what we're getting here from Tyler. Big Wreck 63 southbound lane at the Hallsville 124 junction. Traffic backing up quickly. Lots of emergency vehicles on the scene. So as always, whenever you're seeing stuff, please let us know. And yeah, other folks, car accident, 124 turn off to Hallsville or just past that. And if you're in that area, if you can get us the latest, please let us know. 874-9390. 874-9390. Fox News coming up 7 o'clock. Do Dems even have the hope? Not do they think they can get the vote. Do they have any hope that they're going to get votes to try to cram through this $5 trillion total infrastructure package? That's how they're calling it. It's infrastructure. A lot of it is not infrastructure. Fox News will have that for you. And then Brian Hauswirth a little bit after 8 o'clock. Local news. We had a local professor who worked in the Trump administration. Very talented. God, this guy is so smart. Aaron Hedlund does stuff with the Show Me Institute.
Yeah, we saw him at the event in Columbia just about a month ago, and I always enjoy a conversation with him.
Because he can explain it to us like we're 2 years old, debunking some things that were said in Washington, D.C. this week. Then Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler joins us. She is here at 8:10 on a Feel Good Friday. There's a lot happening in the hallways in D.C. She's got the inside
Wake Up Columbia with Branden Rathert.
Tough, sophisticated, professional, cool, the man's man.
Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
So Hannah and I are going to be at the Tiger Tailgate tomorrow. We would love to see you there, too. Free passes. They're all over town. Matter of fact, in Columbia, you can go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They're providing some of the food tomorrow. You can also go to Southern Glazers. They're providing some of the booze, the beer, the liquor, whatever you want to call it, man. We're going to feed you. We're going to drink you. You can go to any of these places, Southern Glazers, Buffalo Wild Wings in Columbia, Jefferson City, Speedy Bees on Rainbow Drive. The passes are free. You can get up to 4, and we start tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the morning. Nothing wrong with a little day drinking. I believe I heard that in a country song once, and I am all for it. Just not for me anymore.
There you go. Yeah, there's always a but.
One of the things I feel good about, I can't believe I don't drink anymore. 403 days without a drink. If you know somebody who's struggling with alcohol and something I struggled with for 35 years, call me. I can pass along my experience and my strength and my hope. What's happening in Centralia with the police department?
I don't know. I think that's part of the issue is that some of the residents of Centralia feel like they don't know what's going on. I'm just piecing together what I can from Facebook posts, so obviously none of what I'm saying is official information.
You're taking the Mike Shannon route. Word on the street is Cardinals are for sale.
But there's definitely, some upset residents in Centralia, and there is a rally planned for Monday morning, I believe.
Our news partners at ABC 17, former Centralia police officer says he was wrongly fired amid fallout between city government and the police department. And that is the thing is you get city officials, it's a personnel matter. We can't discuss it. Patrick McGee feels he was wrongly fired a month ago over an alleged policy violation. He was the first of 3 officers to leave the Centralia Police Department over the past 2 months. Talking to Zach Boeto and our news partners at ABC 17.
Well, my firing, I believe, was a stepping stone towards them taking down the chief, try to impact the department to force his hand, and instead they forced his resignation. Yes, there's evidence of violations of state law, and, well, if people would like to know what it is, I'd say attend a city council meeting on October 11th, 6:30, City Hall.
Again, he's echoing one of our big tenets here on Wake Up Columbia. Go and get involved.
Yeah, it appears that he's gathered more than 300 signatures. There's a petition to reinstate him, and members of the community are stepping up and signing this petition. No?
Well, I believe the petition that you're talking about is for chief bias.
Okay, got it. Okay.
He put in his letter of resignation at some point this week, and his last day is October 10th.
So the folks are supporting the chief, but he's saying that his firing was the precursor to kind of get the chief to resign.
Yeah, he said that was part of it. And I guess it stems for apparently McGee, the reason given to McGee for he was speaking with a juvenile witness of a crime investigation without permission from the juvenile officer or parent consent. You know what? I think my big takeaway from this, though, is, and I don't know the politics playing out there with police and officials in City Hall in Centralia. I don't know those. But the community supports its law enforcement. That is my big takeaway. I love that. They are supporting their law enforcement.
Well, and I believe that in the past couple years, the city passed a tax that would go to the police department to increase their force from 10 officers to 12 officers. So there's also, folks upset that they passed this tax and they're paying it, and now, officers are leaving.
Where's that money going to, said the conspiracy theorist side of me.
Well, and what we know is with the officers leaving, we've heard how difficult it is to staff up police departments right now. So, who knows when they could even get these folks replaced.
Right now, update this on the 63 at 124. Apparently all lanes, this from listener Craig, all lanes clear, just a lot of rubbernecking. So be careful through there. Brian's going to get you updated coming up here at 7:03. Feds, they're going to leave the light on for you until December. That's coming up in Fox News at 8 o'clock. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, inside info on what happened in D.C. this week at 8:10.
Democrats will try again today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
They want to transform this country with their socialist agenda.
Republicans like Senator Tom Cotton watching from the sidelines as Democrats negotiate among themselves on trillions of dollars in spending. Fox's Rachel Sutherland's live at the White House.
Dave, Democrats are trying to break a deadlock over infrastructure. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi delayed a vote on a bipartisan core infrastructure bill after progressives said they would vote no unless they get a $3.5 trillion plan funding social and climate programs.
We will have a reconciliation bill. That is for sure.
But first, the speaker needs to get past moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin, who wants to spend around $1.5 trillion.
They can come back and do later, and they can run on the rest of it later. I think there's many ways to get to where they want to.
Infrastructure has been President Biden's top legislative priority. Dave?
Rachel, the federal government is still up and running because both parties did agree on short-term funding before a midnight shutdown deadline, but it does not include raising the debt limit, which could be reached later this month.
What Republicans laid out all along was a clean, continuing resolution without the poison pill.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. It's decision day for teachers in New York City who still haven't gotten a COVID vaccine. If they don't get a shot today, they won't be back in school next week. Unpaid leave, though there is a court fight over that, and legal challenges to New York State's mandate for health care and nursing home workers to get vaccinated. A judge ruled those who object for religious reasons cannot be fired. And another state's deadline has been pushed back to Monday.
All major healthcare systems in Connecticut are mandating vaccinations. Still, more than 1,000 workers across the state haven't gotten their shots.
Julia LeBlanc with Fox 61 TV in Hartford. A man in Texas was taken into custody this week over a March restaurant attack near Houston, accused of stabbing a manager at a Jack in the Box who told him he needed to wear a mask. America's listening to Fox News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. It is 8:03, 66 right now in downtown Columbia at 65 degrees in Jefferson City. We are expecting a lot of rain throughout the next couple of days. Our high today will only be about 80 degrees. Have the umbrella handy. We'll have a complete forecast coming up with Kevin in a moment. Good morning, everyone. We want to begin this hour with some breaking news. We have a motor vehicle collision that has happened within the last 5 to 10 minutes at Clinkscales and West Ash. That is here in Columbia, and authorities are urging everyone to avoid that area if at all possible. Clinkscales and West Ash, authorities on scene. They've been calling for more emergency personnel as we speak. If you're in that area and it's safe and you could give us more information about what's happening, you can call or text us 573-874-9390. But avoid that area if at all possible. Clinkscales and West Ash here in Columbia. Meantime, Centralia residents are collecting signatures to reinstate a fired police officer. ABC 17 News reports Centralia aldermen are expected to discuss the issue on the 11th of October. KMIZ reports 300 people have already signed a petition to reinstate the officer in this case. Patrick McGee, 93.9 The Eagle, has reached out to the Centralia City Administrator for comment. We have not heard back from her as of yet. As soon as we do, we'll update our listeners. The U.S. House has delayed a vote on the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia there are divisions in the House Democratic caucus on Capitol Hill.
You basically have liberal Democrats who want the whole kit and caboodle, and then you've got others who are a bit nervous about that and would rather just do the infrastructure part.
U.S. House has delayed the vote on the infrastructure bill. There's some divisions as well among Republicans on the bill. The New York Times reports Speaker Pelosi intends to bring the measure up again sometime today. MU Healthcare is scheduled a 3 o'clock groundbreaking for today for a new $232 million children's hospital and tower in Columbia. The facility's aim is to help the system create one convenient, centralized location for all hospital services. The new children's hospital will have a dedicated child-friendly entrance designed to make check-ins easy. It will also feature a nature-inspired interior with natural lighting to promote healing. There'll be special outdoor areas for the children to play as well, flower gardens, additional places to relax. New hospital will be located at Hitt and Lake Streets. The current facility is located on Keene. Keene is near I-70. That is East Columbia. A husband and wife who graduated from Mizzou in the late 1990s will have their names on MU football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia when it opens. The UM Board of Curators voting Thursday unanimously to name the building the Stevens Indoor Facility for Brad and Rachel Cohen Stevens. The current Divine Pavilion opened in 1998 and only has a 70-yard field. This new facility will be 86,000 square feet. It will include a full-length football field. We have an artist's rendering. You can see exactly what it's going to look like. 939theeagle.com. And a major insurance company that's headquartered here in Columbia is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. Shelter Insurance's Rhonda Rollins will be joining Fred Perry coming up tomorrow morning on the CEO Roundtable at 7 right here on 93.9 The Eagle. She'll talk about that 75th anniversary and also talk about the economic impact that Shelter has. They have 1,300 employees at their Columbia campus on Broadway. Annual payroll in Columbia alone is $91 million, and Shelter operates in 15 states. 93.9 The Eagle News is brought to you on this very busy Friday morning by the Callaway Bank. Callaway Bank is with you for the moments that matter. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:06. Turning our attention now to sports and what has been a very busy couple of days, the last week or so in baseball with the Cardinals. They lost one game after they had won 17 straight, but they win again last night. Dylan Carlson, a couple of home runs. St. Louis beats Milwaukee 4-3 yesterday. Businessman special, Happ, his 10th win of the year. Cardinals hosting the Chicago Cubs tonight, 7:15. Cleveland beating the Royals last night at the K by a score of 6-1. High school football, we've got a lot of action. We'll have the complete rundown for you coming up at 8:30. The big game tonight is the Highway 54 Bowl, Fulton in Mexico. That game will be in Fulton in the Kingdom of Callaway. It'll be on the Big 900 KFAL. Steve Mallinckrodt on the call. And 10 former Mizzou Tigers will be inducted into the University of Missouri Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame tonight. That'll be a private ceremony at the Tiger Hotel at 6:15. Football star Howard Richards and Merv Johnson as well will be inducted. Howard now a color commentator on the Tiger Radio Network. Also being inducted tonight, and some of you will remember this name, Richard Poe, Rolla, Missouri. He had a hand in each of Mizzou's top four national finishes. Led the Tigers to the 1984 Big 8 championship. Richard Poe, 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:08. All right, Kevin, thank you. 67 degrees.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check is with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. You can visit MidmoHires.com to find a job or to post your job opening today. Again, Joint Communications is reporting that we've got that situation out on Clinkscales and West Ash. It's a motor vehicle collision. They're asking everybody to avoid the area. Use caution if you're in there, and you can give us a little bit more detail. 573-874-9390. But a lot of traffic backing up in that area. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
punch. We'll tell you first. Congresswoman Hartzler joining us on the show now. I want to work backwards. Let's start with what happened last night and what didn't happen last night. So as it is right now, nothing on this infrastructure bill. And I want to ask you, do you think, from what you see, you're there, do Democrats even have hope of getting votes to push this forward?
Well, I wouldn't put Nancy Pelosi's abilities to twist arms aside. She is really powerful in many ways, and sadly, too often gets her ultimate goal. And so we will see. But I'm glad that at this point they're not able to pass this infrastructure bill. I mean, the $1.1 trillion spending boondoggle with only $110 billion, about 10% actually going to roads and bridges. It's just another giveaway for our Green New Deal and going to put us further in debt. It's not fully paid for, so it's a bad bill, and I'm glad they don't have the votes, and hopefully they won't be able to get the votes.
Can you talk about some of this horse trading that goes on behind the scenes? You talk about the power of Nancy Pelosi, who obviously been there forever. She does have a lot of power and the ability to twist real hard the arms of some of these folks. And I would guess not just in the lower chamber, too, but maybe even the Senate. Is there some of this, too, besides, hey, I can do this for you politically, I can get you that? I envision there's also, hey, you can come out to my big fancy ranch for a weekend and we'll talk about it. Then you're out at Nancy's for the weekend and they're grilling big giant steaks that would rival that of CC City Broiler. They're boozing you and feeding you and you're swimming and having a good time. Is there some of that happens too?
I really have no idea. I mean, this is all within the Democrat caucus. I've always wondered how she is able to pull off some of these tricks out of her hat. But I think a lot of it has to do with money, though, and her support of candidates. She has an uncanny ability to be able to point money towards different candidates, either prop them up or bring them down. She can put up people against them in the primary and fund them. And I think that's probably her main lever of power. But like I said, I really don't know. But as we wake up this morning, we're hearing that maybe President Biden has floated a lower spending spree bill that is tied to this infrastructure bill. They've been promoting this $3.5 trillion spending boondoggle, but they have a problem, and I'm glad they do, and that Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kristen Sinema of their own party have said in the Senate that they're not supportive of this much money being spent. And so I heard this morning that perhaps he's floated a $2 trillion bill, and that's been my worry all along. I'm glad that Manchin and Sinema have said, $3.5 trillion is too much, but does that mean they won't object to $3 trillion or $2.5 trillion, or now this proposal may be $2 trillion? And so I suspect, this isn't just Pelosi working this. This is, Schumer and certainly the president involved now. If he can twist arms of getting Sinema and Manchin to agree to a lower amount of this other bill, then perhaps the squad over here will go ahead and agree to that and vote for the infrastructure bill. So these are all tied together, both packages, and they're both bad for Americans.
Well, it's some evil stuff in my mind happening this morning. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler on Wake Up Columbia on 93.9 The Eagle.
Now, something else I think that happened last night. So we kept the government open, but they did pull the provision out that would have suspended the debt limit. So that's kind of a small win. Can you tell us more about what happened there?
Well, they did pass a continuing resolution to fund the government into the first part of December, but it doesn't have the provision in there for the increasing the debt ceiling. And, this is something the Democrats need to pass themselves. They are the ones that are spinning us into bankruptcy, that have already pushed through earlier this year, $1.9 trillion COVID package, when we still have $1 trillion of unspent COVID money from the package from last year. And now they're advancing this $1.1 trillion infrastructure bill, the $3.5 trillion socialist spending spree. And so they're the ones that are, making us have to increase this debt to such an extent, and their debt ceiling proposal is a blank check. Sometimes in the past, when the debt ceiling has been increased, it's just for us up to a certain dollar amount. This is just unlimited. There is no dollar amount. It just says completely all the way through to December of next year. So they want to take this off the table for the elections next year. They want people to quit talking about our national debt. But as a Republican and as someone who's fiscally conservative, I'm not going to let them off the hook. I mean, we've got to get our fiscal house in order. We're seeing inflation just being fueled, and it's hurting our families. It's hurting people in the 4th District when they go fill their car or truck at the gas pump or go to the grocery store in many other ways. And so just spending is going to make it even worse for the people we care about around Columbia.
Congresswoman, we appreciate you joining us live on Wake Up Columbia. I want to go to the issue of Afghanistan because I know that you were very critical, obviously, of one of the generals this week. But I'm interested in a comment that was made by General McKenzie to the Senate Armed Services Committee. Maybe he said something similar to the House, but this was a pretty, I thought, powerful quote. And this was obviously to the Senate Armed Services Committee. He said, quote, "I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan, and I also recommended earlier in the fall of 2020 that we maintain 4,500 at that time. I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government," end of quote. And that is under oath General Kenneth McKenzie this week. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, well, he did share something about that as well at the hearing. With the 2,500 was his recommendation, and Secretary Austin and General Milley all said they, too, believe that 2,500 was needed and should be kept there. And so what we found out at this hearing is basically that President Biden lied. A couple weeks ago on an interview with George Stephanopoulos, he was asked about that. Did any of your military advisors tell you and advise you that they should keep 2,500 in the country to keep stability? And he said, no, they did not, or at least none that I can recall. So either he has a memory problem or he lied, and because they all said they advised that, and it ended up obviously being devastating when you drew down from 2,500 originally, then to 650 was the first step. That was what they shared was the reason they left Bagram Air Base, which, of course, I think was strategically a disaster. Not only was that our most secure installation there, would have enabled a more orderly evacuation of American citizens and others, but it also houses this prison. Between 5,000 and 7,000 ISIS and Taliban terrorists were imprisoned there. And once the order came that they could only have 650, that was needed just to protect the embassy and the parts of city of Kabul. So the generals said, well, we can't do both, and they pulled out in the middle of the night from Bagram. And that enabled the Taliban within a few days to arrive and to release the prisoners from that prison. It was just devastating all the way around. This was a botched withdrawal operation, and it was clear after this hearing that it was because of the orders coming down from the White House and the State Department.
Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, two more questions here. You talk about Joe Biden lying. Basically, the president of the United States of America lying. And he lied about something, by the way. He killed 13 of our service members. But Joe Biden this week, not the only one caught in lies.
The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero.
Let me pronounce to my friends that the border is both sovereign and secure.
So we know lies. You have the president, you have Pelosi. There's almost $5 trillion in infrastructure, which it's not mostly about infrastructure anyway. The cost is zero. We had Mizzou professor, economics professor Aaron Hedlund on the show this week. Just like, no, that is just not true. That is a straight up lie. You cannot get around it. That is a lie. The president lied to you. The president lied to you about this spending package. The president, your president, the president of the United States of America lied about troops in a situation that killed 13 of our service members. Nancy Pelosi lying. The cost is zero. Shirley Jackson Lee lying. The border is secure. I just don't get how they get away with this. Final, I guess it wasn't a question, it was a comment. Sorry, Vicky. Mark Milley, response from, did you hear anything after the hearing earlier this week? You called on him to his face to resign. Any reaction from him?
No, he didn't say anything, and it's just a very, very sad and concerning situation when your top military official in our government was talking to the top defense general in China, and he admitted when I asked him at the hearing that he told him, well, if we were going to do that, hey, I'd call you and I'd tell you. That is just unbelievable, and that's why I said I think it's worthy of his resignation. It's just very, very serious situation. We need generals to be loyal to America first. And I'm not sure our current general there is with his actions.
It would be like coming up, Cardinals have a wild card game, very important wild card game against the Dodgers. That is a one-card wild game against the Dodgers. It'd be like Adam Wainwright telling Albert Pujols, when Albert Pujols comes up to bat for the Dodgers, hey, Albert, I'm going to throw you a fastball right down the middle. You don't do that kind of stuff. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, before we let you go, I know a very serious conversation here on a Feel Good Friday, but do want to ask you, what is it that you are grateful for today? What do you feel good about?
Well, I had a great run this morning. I just love the crisp fall air. I love this time of year. It's so beautiful, the pumpkins, pumpkin spice, everything. I just love getting outdoors, enjoying nature, and so I'm very grateful for that.
Vicky, you just made Hannah, the producer, and Stephanie smile real big when you mentioned pumpkin spice.
Yes.
They appreciate you, and we hope that you will wear red here on a Feel Good Friday. Red, remember, everybody deployed, which we're wearing. You can see when you watch on the Wake Up Columbia Facebook page, and you can now watch on YouTube. Congresswoman, thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you, Brandon. Take care. Bye.
Right. Coming up, Morning Bell. What do you have for us today, Stephanie?
Well, some new hope on the coronavirus, actually. Interesting news.
That I did find. This is...
Watch it.
And here's why I take my car there. My car's got like 130,000 miles. The thing is almost as old as Hannah, but I like not having a car payment. And the folks at Gap's Automotive Repair Shop, Gus and Paula, local people, by the way, small shop on Vandiver in Columbia. You drive by and you see the sign that says Gap's Automotive Repair Shop. And you see cars sitting out there because folks know that they're local. People know that they are going to do a good job. People know this about Gap's Automotive. They know that you are going to get the straight story from Gap's Automotive on your car. So check them out. Gap's Automotive Repair Shops, where I take my car, 130,000 miles, still on the road. Not only is it still on the road, the thing runs great. Check them out on Vandiver, Gap's Automotive Repair Shop.
Now, more Hot Talk with Branden Rathert and Wake Up Columbia. Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle. It's time for the opening bell with Stephanie Bell on Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle.
Business news here on 93.9 The Eagle with that twist that only Stephanie Bell can give you.
Yeah, so Merck and Ridgeback Biotherapeutics are developing the Tamiflu for COVID. So have you ever? I've taken Tamiflu. Have you ever taken it?
I don't even get the flu.
Yeah, well, so I guess they had previously stopped a different study because they were giving the drug to people once they were already in the hospital. And what they're saying, in Tamiflu, it only works like if you take it right at the early onset. And so there's a study, and what they're saying is it cuts the risk of hospitalization or death by 50% by just taking a pill. And so that's very good news, especially for people who perhaps for medical reasons or religious reasons can't get the vaccine, that maybe you could go take a pill if you did get COVID. And the government's spending a ton of money. So the U.S. has agreed to spend $1.2 billion for 1.7 million courses of treatment, assuming it gets approved. So maybe by the end of this year, they're saying we'll see this.
So maybe a cure for the fix. You won't get the symptoms, you know. You know, the thing coming up. Okay, so they're starting to scurry around in D.C. this morning. What's happening there? Fox News has that coming up here at 8:30. Brian Hauswirth is here. 8:31. Several different traffic things we have been monitoring this morning. We'll get an update on that. And then we are nominating our winners and losers of the week locally and nationally. That's at 8:35. ABC 17 Storm Track. Forecast, chance of scattered showers all the way through the weekend. Our high today, 81. 79 tomorrow for Mizzou football. Right now, 65. 93.9 The Eagle. Good morning. It's Wake Up Columbia.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. There's a COVID case at the Supreme Court.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh has tested positive for COVID. We're told he's asymptomatic. The other justices have all apparently tested negative. The court saying that Kavanaugh and his family are all vaccinated.
Fox's Bill Hemmer. The court's new term begins Monday, and justices are returning to the courtroom to hear arguments. Democrats falling short on funding deals despite late-night talks. The $3.5 trillion social and climate program funding plan facing resistance from
moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin, who wants to spend around $1.5 trillion.
They can come back and do later, and they can run on the rest of it later. I think there's many ways to get to where they want to.
Infrastructure has been President Biden's top legislative priority.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. America's listening to Fox News.
And now, award-winning news coverage with Brian Hauswirth on 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com.
93.9 The Eagle News with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. 8:31 is our time. Here in Columbia, it is 68 and it's 67 degrees in Jefferson City. We're looking today for a high of 81 degrees. Good morning, everyone. We begin this hour with that still developing story as authorities in Boone County, Columbia, are urging you to avoid the area of Clinkscales and Ash. They are working right now a vehicle collision, Clinkscales and Ash. They've been out there for about 30 minutes or thereabouts, and traffic has been backing up. No word on any possible injuries, but avoid the area if at all possible. Clinkscales and Ash. That would be West Columbia. Meantime, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi delaying a key vote on a massive infrastructure bill after a revolt from progressives in her Democratic caucus. University of Missouri Economics Associate Professor Aaron Hedlund tells Wake Up Columbia the measure will cost about $1 trillion.
Basically, what they're saying is if you spend $1 trillion and then do $1 trillion of tax hikes, it's zero cost, which, of course, is not the case. If you spend $1 trillion, the cost is $1 trillion, whether you finance it with borrowing or with tax hikes.
New York Times reporting today that House leaders hope to bring the measure up again today. Speaker Pelosi trying to get more time to reach an agreement on a separate climate change and safety net bill. We just heard from Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, who serves on the Armed Services Committee. She also talked about the testimony from a number of generals, and according to her, President Biden lied when he talked about Afghanistan. State officials will join MU healthcare leaders for today's groundbreaking for the $232 million new children's hospital project at Sarah ceremony starts at 3. Hittin' Lake Streets on the MU Healthcare main hospital campus. MU Healthcare says a new hospital will help the health system integrate to create one centralized location for all hospital services. The current Children's Hospital is located on Keene. That's near I-70. UM Board of Curators has voted unanimously to name Mizzou football's new indoor practice facility in Columbia for 2 longtime supporters of Mizzou athletics. They are graduates Brad Stevens and his wife Rachel Cohen Stevens. They made a number of cash and in-kind contributions. It's a $33 million facility. Construction expected to begin this fall, and that will all be funded through private donations. Coach Eli Drinkwitz says an indoor facility to train and practice in is crucial to Mizzou's player development efforts. The pandemic and a shortage of materials causing Schnucks to delay the opening of its store on Clark Lane. That's near the Lake of the Woods exit in East Columbia. Schnucks spokesman Paul Simon tells 93.9 The Eagle the pandemic has been causing construction delays. He says it's been difficult to get building materials and refrigeration equipment. Schnucks wants to hire 80 employees for the new store. It's now expected to open in early 2022. Store will also have a CVS pharmacy inside. And a reminder that Fred Perry's guest tomorrow morning on the program called the CEO Roundtable here on the Eagle will be the Chief Executive Officer of Shelter Insurance. Her name is Randa Rollins. Shelter celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. They operate in 15 states, one of the biggest employers in Columbia. Top 10 employers in terms of numbers, 1,300 employees at their Columbia campus. Their annual payroll alone in Columbia, $91 million. Tune in to Fred and Ms. Rollins. That'll be tomorrow morning, 7, 93.9 The Eagle. Our news is brought to you live this morning by Hemi Construction, homes and lots in the southwest neighborhoods, Chapel Hill Meadows, Nursery Heights, Creek's Edge. Hemi Construction. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:35. In sports, Dylan Carlson hitting a couple of home runs last night and yesterday for the Cardinals as they beat Milwaukee at Busch Stadium. The final there was 4-3. Very impressive. The Cardinals hosting Chicago tonight, 7:15. Hear all the action right here on 93.9 The Eagle. Another Friday packed with high school football. Hickman and Jefferson City tonight with Andy on the call. Andy Humphrey, 100.5 KTGR. Battle visiting Smith Cotton, Rockbridge, and Liberty. Capital City and Helias on KWOS, AM 950 with Kevin Kelly. And Fulton and Mexico. That's just a big game every year. That's called the Highway 54 Bowl. It will be at Fulton High School tonight in the Kingdom of Callaway. Big 900 KFAL. Steve Mallinkraut on the call tonight. 93.9 The Eagle Sports is brought to you by Wendy Sprouse Agency. Reach out to Wendy Sprouse, the Medicare nerd. WendySprouseAgency.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:36.
Eagle Eye Traffic.
And our traffic check with MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Visit MidmoHires.com to find a job or post your job opening today. It's 8:36. It's been a very busy morning on the roads. Again, Clinkscales and Ash. If you're in that area or heading towards there, you want to avoid that. We have a multi-vehicle collision that's been taking place and really been out on scene for about 35 minutes now. Avoid the area if at all possible. No other details and no word on any possible injuries. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes and breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Hauswirth, 93.9 The Eagle.
Pink-haired wokers who don't know their ass from their elbow.
That's the senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. He'd been busy writing, apparently, at night. I don't think he's where he's going, and he's got pen and paper, and he's writing comedy. He came up with another one this week.
Pink-haired wokers who carry around Ziploc bags of kale.
He's like building up this whole repertoire of what can I do to talk about wokers. I am nominating him for one of our winners of the week here on Wake Up Columbia. It's a nomination. Welcome into the show. There's Stephanie Pell.
Good morning.
Brian Hauswirth is here.
Good morning.
And a producer.
What up?
My name is Branden Rathert. One thing that is new this morning, you can now watch Wake Up Columbia on YouTube.
You can. We have 5 whole subscribers now, which is a pretty big deal.
5 subscribers in 2.5 hours. I'll call that a victory. But the benefit to this, with it being on YouTube, let's say you get up in the morning, you're running around, the kids getting ready, all this stuff going on, you can put YouTube up on the TV. And whether you're listening to it or watching it, kids running through the house, they're getting ready for school, what have you. You're getting ready for work. You're in the kitchen and you're making your wife's lunch for her to take to work and stuff like that. You can hear the news. Your kids will get an education on how things really are, or at least how they should be. So you can hear it. You can watch on your TV. Go to the channel. And there's a very specific way that you might need to find this. It's not just going on and searching Wake Up Columbia on YouTube or 93.9 The Eagle.
Yeah, 93.9 The Eagle. And I guess you can filter by live, things that are live now, and that will help narrow it to us, because there are other Eagle stations. There are copycats out there that want to be the Eagle too, so you might get the wrong one. But go ahead and you can filter by live, and then you can subscribe, and then once you subscribe, it'll be way easier for you to find us.
My name is Branden Rathert, and by the way, kudos to you. We're nominating you for Winner of the Week if you are wearing red here on a Feel Good Friday, and then we do this for a reason.
We wear red on Fridays to remember everyone deployed.
So it's something we started doing it on Wake Up Columbia. More and more folks in the Zimmer Radio Group are doing it. I know every Friday when I go to the Columbia Pachyderm meeting, I see folks from Veterans United that I see, and they have shirts made. And I want to thank Human Resources who made a shirt for me, which is really, it's a lot nicer than the last thing they gave me, which was a packet of paperwork.
Oh, no.
Branden, your use of the word chick offends some. They're triggered by it. Back off. And so I told the Human Resources chick, I said, ain't doing it. I got to be me. We're going to nominate more winners and losers, but first want to chat with Brent at 874-9390. Go ahead, Brent.
Hey, good morning. Yes, want to let you know I hurt myself.
Yeah?
Well, when the Cardinals made the postseason, I was doing my happy dance so much, I pulled a muscle.
Man, how cool is that? The run of 21.
But also a question for Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay. How do all the Cardinals players stay so cool?
How?
Well, they're surrounded by thousands of fans.
Aww.
Points. Brent, we're nominating you for one of our winners of the week, okay?
Oh, thank you.
All right. You're welcome, man. We appreciate you being a part of Wake Up Columbia this morning.
Do I get a nomination for Winner of the Week?
For
all the folks who showed up at the Boone County meeting to talk about the murals.
Yeah.
I think they're winners. We've been encouraging people to, if you have something to say, step up and say it.
That's true.
And I think it provoked a lot of community-wide discussion about the mural and what it means and, the history of this community and, the future of the community. And I think, kudos to everyone on both sides for showing up.
Kudos to everybody on both sides for showing up. I want to nominate William Powell, who just really schooled folks that think this should come down. He schooled these people, saying, listen, if you think the mural should come down, number one, just because you are offended.
I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Hannah, are you having a doggy daycare again?
Sorry.
William Powell, who really schooled people and said, listen, just because you're offended shouldn't be torn down, and then went on to further school and educate people. Here's what's really in it. I know you see it and you go, oh, and that was my reaction. I've been very honest. It was one of my initial reactions, like, whoa, but you know what? Then I educated myself on it. William Powell, who presented that argument, one of our winners of the week.
If some of what is shown in these murals causes some to cringe, my view is that does not mean the murals should be condemned or removed.
Nominating him as one of our winners of the week. Who else do we have? Anybody in Washington, D.C. that we may nominate as winners of the week?
I have one.
Yeah.
Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. My goodness. Remember, Kristen Sinema was on, I can't remember what they were voting on. Kristen Sinema, Democrat Senator, Arizona. I can't remember what they were voting on, but she went up and voted one time. Remember, she did the little curtsy because she voted against what her party's supposed to vote because she's got a mind of her own. Unlike a lot of Democrats in D.C., they vote a certain way. Well, I have a D. This is how I'm supposed to vote. She voted her conscience and on her intelligence. Remember, she went up and she curtsied. That was awesome. By the way,
has anyone looked at Joe Manchin's arm? I can just, Congresswoman Hartzler talked about Nancy twisting arms, and I just, in my mind, I can just let's check on them and make sure they're okay.
Here's a phone number I want to give you. All right? It's 202-224-3954. 202-224-3954. 3954. That's Joe Manchin's office number in D.C. I think one of the things that I will do today on a Feel Good Friday, I will call his office. Don't need to hear back from anybody. I at least want to leave a comment. As an independent conservative in the Midwest, I appreciate what you are doing. And then I think right after that, I'm going to call also in the 202 area code 224-4521. 224-4521. It's the phone number for Kristen Sinema's office. Now, it's not a done deal yet. It's not a done deal that it's just not going to happen. But at this point, it's just not. It's really just not looking good. So, yeah, nominated for Winners of the Week. Also nominating Brad Tregnago on the Tiger Radio Network. He was who was it he was talking about who's being honored this weekend?
That is there's several people, but the big one is Howard Richards, who is the color commentator on the Tiger Radio Network, and he will be inducted tonight at a private ceremony. And Howard he played for Warren Powers at Mizzou and then went to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and
CIA after that.
CIA. I mean, this guy's neat. And so I'm nominating Brad Tregnago as one of our Winners of the Week for using the phrase, he's got old man NFL strength. I thought that was really good. Who else can we nominate?
I have one.
Yes.
I have one.
Yes.
So our friends over at KCMQ, they have a morning show, The Morning Shag. They made a Facebook post yesterday morning asking who the next James Bond should be. And it was one of those wrong answers only posts. And somebody commented a video of Branden Rathert on that Facebook post. And it was the infamous video of you nailing yourself in the face.
The headphones snapped and popped me in the head.
So I think you're the winner of the week for being voted, not the best option for James Bond.
I'm going to nominate Marco Rubio for one of our Winners of the Week. And this surprises me coming from Marco Rubio. He's strong in his beliefs. He's also strong that, especially when he first got into the Senate, I'm not going to do the name calling and stuff. He's backed off of that now.
They have these radical left-wing nutcases who basically want it to be $7 trillion, not $3.5 trillion, and they think $3.5 trillion is a compromise. And then you got a handful of people that haven't gone Marxist yet. Who aren't necessarily conservatives or anything of that nature, but they're sort of more normal in their view of what...
More normal. I love that. I'm nominating Marco for one of our Winners of the Week.
So some other Winners of the Week locally, we were out in downtown Columbia yesterday taking photos, and I passed by the Boone County Government Center, and they were setting up for what looked to be a wedding. And we were complaining about it being very windy, but all of the guests and the big bridal party, they had music, everyone outside, and we kind of walked by and we're like, oh my gosh, the wedding, it's so windy. I walked by, 20 minutes later and it was monsooning. I mean, I had an umbrella. It was a kind of rain when you got the umbrella and still you're soaked because it's just coming horizontally. And they were all just standing there. And I got there right as it finished and they were clapping and cheering and the music started up. And I mean, they are drenched, but they were just kind of went with it, right? And I love that. I like, we're going to just do it.
We had an event. My dad celebrated a birthday a couple weeks ago, and it was very eventful, and not necessarily in a good way. Ultimately, it was a good thing. And my sister was apologetic. She was having a bona fide panic attack about a bunch of things. And I said, you know what? Do you remember any of other Dad's birthday parties? No. I said, we're going to remember this one, right? She said, yeah. I love that, too. So we knew this wedding was happening like 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. It got windy. We bailed out from our photo shoot, which you'll be able to see highlights of in the next few days, outtakes, on our Facebook page. And I'm thinking, man, I wonder what they're doing. And so Stephanie was still there. I applaud them for
soaked. I'm hoping someone who's listening has a picture that they wouldn't mind sharing. I checked Twitter because it was a sight to be seen. I mean, full suits, full wool suits, full long gowns, and just the kind of rain where there's no hope. And, I think normal people would maybe try to make a run for it or what, and they just right straight ahead.
I appreciate that. Weddings, to you, when it happens to you, it's special. I've had a couple of them, both of them really special. But somebody that has a wedding, hey, remember that wedding? Remember when we got married, honey? We stood out in a wind and rainstorm, and the band marched on, and they kept playing. We were drenched. Every single person. I've been in weddings, been to weddings. I don't remember any of them really, except for the one where I paid the band an extra $20 to stick around and let me be the lead singer. I remember that one.
What?
Yeah.
No, this wedding will go down in history. Their friends will be talking about it forever. And the guests seemed thrilled to be there, even soaking wet. They thought it was awesome.
If somebody knows whoever that was that got married in downtown Columbia yesterday, 5 o'clock in the evening in that wind and rainstorm, please reach out to them. Say, hey, you got to get a hold of the crew at Wake Up Columbia. They want some pictures. They want to talk to you. We'd love to talk to those folks. I think that'd be cool. Coming up, maybe we'll get in. Town wedding in Columbia yesterday, 5 o'clock in the midst of a storm. And that song from Imagine Dragons Thunder, completely accidental. That was not planned. I'm Branden Rathert for our good friends at the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau. The Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau. Here's why I call them good friends. They help people all across Mid-Missouri, and most folks get started on the website, bbb.org. They're protecting people, and plus they offer really good tips. Hey, you're looking to, go and invest money on this or on that, they can offer some tips. Here's some things I should think about when I'm considering, because what do? We ask our friends. Another good resource for you is the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau. They helped me this summer. Man, just a horrible experience with an airline. Couldn't get my money back. And then I contacted the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau, and I got that situation resolved and got my money back. It's just some of the things that they do at the Mid-Missouri Better Business Bureau, bbb.org.
creating a new generation of talk show listeners. Hot Talk 93.9, The Eagle.
We'll be looking for you tomorrow at the Tiger Tailgate. Hannah and the producer and I will be there tomorrow. You can pick up your free passes in Columbia. Plasma Biological Services, Walnut Street downtown. Crumble Cookies on Conley Road. And then in Jefferson City, you can go to Speedy B's, the one on Pleasant Hill Road. You get up to 4 free passes. There's free food from Buffalo Wild Wings and plenty of drink from Southern Glazers. So check those places out. Get your free passes for the 93.9 The Eagle Tiger Tailgate. We do it every week when Mizzou is in town. Tomorrow's tailgate starts tomorrow morning at 9 in anticipation of that 11 o'clock kickoff.
Letters. I get letters.
We don't get any letters.
So many letters.
Look at the mailbag this morning.
A whole bunch of letters.
We get text and emails.
I'd even read mail from a cow.
So there's a lot today. Folks are feeling good for a lot of reasons, and I love one of the ones we got was from Stephanie and Ashland. Nope, not this Stephanie sitting to my left this morning, not Stephanie Bell, but a different Stephanie. She's feeling good. She's getting ready for her son. Her son is graduating from he's graduating from Marine Corps boot camp next week in Ashland. Then Stuart texted in response to that, and Stuart shared a very cool story, something that he felt good about. By virtue of Stephanie mentioning that on the text, it reminded him of a very fond story that he has of his father that happened years ago. He was graduating, and unbeknownst to Stuart, his father showed up for the graduation also in San Diego. Says, my dad just showed up. He says, I didn't know he was going to be there. I didn't know he saw me graduate. I got to see him for 15 minutes after the thing, and then he was gone. My goodness. That is, wow. And that's why we celebrate.
One of my girlfriends has a daughter, someone in her family, and she just graduated from boot camp and is going to be stationed overseas for quite a while. And she didn't think they would see her at all. And she showed up unexpectedly yesterday and gets to spend a couple weeks at home before she goes on. And yeah, the videos, they get me every time. And, it means a lot to be able to see people who, are serving the country and who, you didn't think you were going to get to see.
Is it okay to get verklempt if it's kind of tears of happiness on a Feel Good Friday? Is that acceptable? Acceptable? Hannah
Yes.
says yes. Good. Gary Nolan's show is coming up next. Check out the Wake Up Columbia On Demand podcast later on our website. See ya.
Bye.